Chapter 689. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finally had some free time. Now, the two of them could only visit the construction site all day long. They had nothing else to do, except for the secret plans. The Japanese of the Four Seas Academy might have thought that the silver ores they bought were worth a good price, so they would send a batch of ores to the county every few days. They did not know how they managed to transport so many ores. It did not seem like the actions of a single person, nor was it something a small team could do. The construction of the construction site was almost done. The people were working very hard, and the progress was very fast. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan decided to finish the first model first. Then they could find some time to come to Luzhou and have a look. It was absolutely impossible for them to not occupy Luzon Island. A month had already passed, and there was still no news. They did not know if the other side had caught some important people. The two of them still did not know that the hot air balloon they sent to the capital had become a powder keg. Many people wanted to impeach them. At night, Wang Wan found Xiaohong, pomegranate, and cherries. She said to the three of them, "The previous incident happened because Cherries has not found a husband. Otherwise, no one would use such an excuse. Xiaohong is said to be getting married next year. At that time, her family will send her a big gift. Pomegranate, Cherries, how about the two of you? Do you have anyone you like? You're all grown up. If you don't get married now, you won't be able to get married in the future. If you do, I'll help you take a look. If not, I'll specially choose one for you." When Xiaohong heard her little wife's words, she lowered her head and did not say anything. It seemed like she really wanted to get married next year. Pomegranate and Cherries did not feel anything when they heard the first part of the conversation. However, when they heard that she was going to choose one and not ask them to find one themselves, they immediately became nervous. They were afraid that they would randomly choose one and it would be someone they did not like when the time came. When she saw their reaction, Wang Wan was sure that the two of them had someone in their heart, but they did not reveal it. Hence, she said to Cherries, "I think Huzi is a good person. Why don't we do it together with Xiaohong next year?" "Little girl, Huzi already has someone he likes. She's also from the courtyard, not me. I can't ruin it." "I'm not in a hurry, really not in a hurry," Cherries quickly refused. "It doesn't matter. Even if he has someone he likes, I'll still let him marry you. He didn't tell me, so I'll just pretend that I don't know. In any case, you don't have someone you like. Just listen to me," Wang Wan said casually. Cherries was really anxious this time. Her face turned red, and in the end, she said very softly, "Actually, Erniu is not married." "Oh, Erniu? Okay, I'll go ask Erniu again and see if he's willing." Wang Wan understood now. Cherries liked Erniu. She didn't know what was so good about Erniu. His name sounded simple and honest, but he had nothing to do with being simple and honest. Cherries didn't say anything this time. She followed Xiaohong's example, lowered her head, and fiddled with the corner of her clothes. She didn't say anything, but Pomegranate next to her said, "Little girl, you don't need to ask Erniu. Look, Cherry's hairpin is not the one she bought herself. Don't say it, don't say it." Cherries couldn't take it anymore. She came over to grab Pomegranate, and while doing so, she revealed Pomegranate's secret. "I don't know who did it, but he said that he was working outside and often had a bad appetite, so he had to send something to nourish his stomach. He went all the way up along the river. After passing the capital, he would reach Huayuan. After Huayuan, he would reach Sanshui, but Sanshui is not as good as Little Luoshui." Now, Wang Wan also knew who Pomegranate liked. It turned out to be Song Jinggong, who was nearly 10 years older than Pomegranate. Seeing the two arguing, Wang Wan asked Xiaohong, "Do you know if Song Jinggong also likes Pomegranate? Young Master Song sent a lot of things to Pomegranate some time ago, including mine and Cherries's. But we didn't get much, and Pomegranate got a lot. There was also a small boat made of paper with words written on it. I don't know what the words were, but Pomegranate didn't let us see it." Xiaohong betrayed Pomegranate. After thinking for a while, she said, also, after Pomegranate received the things, she bought a ginseng and sent it to young Master Song. "I guess they will arrive soon. Now, they are trying to figure out how to grow ginseng." She said that ginseng is too expensive, and if they always buy it, they will have to spend more money in the future. It's better to grow it themselves. Wang Wan suddenly understood. No wonder Pomegranate had been looking for sawdust recently. She thought she was studying mushrooms, but she didn't expect that it was ginseng. At this time, Pomegranate and Cherries stopped arguing. Hearing Xiao Hong's words, Pomegranate became more honest. Pomegranate, if you want to grow ginseng, you have to ask Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao should be able to give you some ideas. But you can't grow ginseng like mushrooms. You can't grow it at all. Well, I got it today. Next year, when Xiao Hong gets married, you will also be part of it. Wang Wan came here to ask. She was most afraid that the three girls all liked Zhang Xiaobao. That would be troublesome. She absolutely wouldn't allow it, but she was also afraid that the three girls would be sad. Fortunately, they all chose the person they liked. In this case, there was no need to ask anymore. Xiao Hong and the other two sent Wang Wan out, then turned around and argued again. Zhang Xiaobao was still waiting for Wang Wan's news. When he saw Wang Wan come back, he asked, "Do you know who they are?" "Guess?" Wang Wan nodded, but didn't say anything. "How am I supposed to guess? As long as there are no outsiders, it's fine. Otherwise, it will be troublesome." Zhang Xiaobao was very anxious to know who they were. "They are all our people. Each and every one of them is sneaking around. They do a good job of keeping secrets, just like spies. I will tell you when the time comes." Wang Wan smiled and said to Zhang Xiaobao. Early the next morning, when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came to the construction site again, the people from the Four Seas Academy came again. This time, it was different from before. They actually brought over an estimated 10,000 taels of silver ore. Zhang Xiaobao suspected that Japan sent all the ore here to be sold. Wang Wan was very puzzled. She asked Zhang Xiaobao, what do they want to do by bringing over so much ore? What else? Aside from exchanging it for some money to buy the technology, their other goal is to make us unable to eat it all at once, so that they can sell it to other merchants. Otherwise, the land they bought won't be profitable. Also, the matter of buying straw also won't be as effective as it should be. Zhang Xiaobao said with certainty. He had discovered the amount of ores that had been sold recently. He had probably been using the first batch of ores to consume his copper coins and cloth. This time, it was the new batch that had just arrived. He wanted to support the other two methods of earning money. So that's how it is. I understand. The matter of the coal is almost done. In another 2 days, it will be transported to the place. It should be time to make the furnace and collect the materials to make the honeycomb coal. Wang Wan said. After thinking about it, she added, when the time comes, we should be able to collect all the straw as well. It's just nice when their plan fails. They won't really be able to make the straw very useful. Not only that, I'm also preparing to transport the straw from other places and sell it to them as well. I want them to know that there are some places where not all schemes can be used. Zhang Xiaobao thought a little more than Wang Wan. Then, make the arrangements. If you're sleepy, go to bed early. We need to arrange for the various officials to come tomorrow in advance to avoid any mistakes. Wang Wan yawned and turned to get someone to boil water. 3 days later, quite a number of people came out of Luoyang. Zhang Zhong led a group of officials and rushed to Baoxing County. There were also people from the Zhang family and Wang family, as well as Xiaobei and company in a house. This time, they were prepared to follow by their brother and sister's side. This time, the entourage was even larger. All the officials had their own carriages. With the addition of the servants, the entourage was very long. When they passed by a place, the people there were surprised and wanted to ask what was going on. They wanted to know if something big had happened. Xiaobei kept urging the group to hurry up. She wanted to see her brother and sister as soon as possible. The officials at the places where the group passed by also had to make preparations in advance. If they wanted to welcome them, they had to at least prepare some food and wine. In the end, wherever there was food and wine, Zhang Zhong would pass through. In his words, he wanted to see his son and daughter-in-law as soon as possible. In fact, The real reason was that he was very disgusted with the local officials using the government's money to treat him to a meal. Whenever he encountered officials giving him gifts, Zhang Zhong would keep a sullen expression and not say a word. The people at home did not dare to accept other people's gifts. Just like that, Zhang Zhong seemed to be offending people along the way. After traveling for 5 days, when the group was not too far away from Baoxing County, something finally happened. Some of the officials, who had prepared food and wine and gifts, wrote a memorial to impeach Zhang Zhong when they saw that he did not give them face. They accused him of disturbing the people along the way and putting on airs to get people to treat him to a meal. They had people send them to the capital on fast horses. It seemed that they would not be satisfied if they did not disgust Zhang Zhong at least once. In the past few days, the officials in the imperial court had been impeaching Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. In the end, the impeachment was not successful. As long as Li Longji went to court, there would be many things to discuss, and they were all seemingly more important matters. For example, the pilgrimage, the shipping of goods, whether the spring plowing of various places was done, and whether or not there was enough rain this year, and whether or not there should be a chomping. One thing after another, the officials could not immediately neglect the important matters. They then focused on the impeachment of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Just as they were vexed, the memorials to impeach Zhang Zhong arrived one after another. The officials discussed in private and began to use this as an excuse to impeach Zhang Zhong. They came with such ferocity that even Zhang Shuo pretended not to see it and allowed others to do as they pleased. Today was the same. As soon as Li Longji went to court, before he could talk about how to increase the grain output and how to get the canal to provide assistance in farming, the officials took out their memorials and began to attack Zhang Zhong. Some people said that his family was wealthy and suspected that he was in cahoots with merchants. Others said that he was an official in Luoyang, and that the excuse of leading officials was to understand the great Tang. In reality, he was gathering wealth for his family and had collected a lot of money along the way. In any case, there were all sorts of things to say. They wanted to teach Zhang Zhong a lesson. At the beginning, Li Longji felt that it was very interesting. After hearing the various reasons given by the officials, he could not help but admire their ability in this aspect. But as he listened, his expression changed. The main reason was that someone accused the Zhang family and Wang family of secretly training soldiers and suspected that they were rebelling. They wanted the emperor to send someone to check if the guards of the Zhang family and Wang family were carrying good weapons. Hearing this, Li Longji stared at Zhang Shuo. A few days ago, Zhang Shuo had used similar excuses to speak. Could it be that Zhang Shuo was also involved in today's matter? Zhang Shuo originally wanted to let others continue speaking so that he could regain the authority that he could no longer control. But when he saw the emperor looking over, he immediately knew that something was wrong. Why did someone mention the breakfast of the Zhang family and Wang family again? If he did not make things clear, wouldn't the emperor think that he was the mastermind behind this? When that person finished speaking, Zhang Shuo immediately stood up and said, "Your Majesty, this official believes that the guards of the Zhang family and Wang family are carrying weapons to protect their technology. They do not want others to steal them. If there is anything wrong with the Zhang family and Wang family, it is only that they have made too many things. They should be done bit by bit and not many at the same time. But this official feels that this also shows Zhang Zhong's ability." Li Longji's expression finally improved. He nodded and indicated for Zhang Shuo to continue speaking. Zhang Shuo heaved a sigh of relief and continued, "This official believes that we can send someone to check on the Zhang family and Wang family to see if they have any good technology recently. As for Zhang Zhong bringing Luoyang's officials to Baoxing County, this official feels that it is fated. Baoxing County has a model of the capital and many officials are not very clear about the matters of Jiangxi province. Furthermore, there will be models of other places in the future. Rather than letting the officials not understand, it is better to go and learn. This will allow the officials to better understand the matters of our great Tang. If anyone says that they understand Jiangyi province, there is no harm for your majesty to test them. Zhang Xuan no longer cared about whether or not he would go against the other people who wanted to impeach Zhang Zhong. He only knew that if he did not speak up for Zhang Zhong this time, the first one to suffer would be him. When he said this, the people who wanted to impeach Zhang Zhong fell silent. They were really afraid that the emperor would ask them about the matters of Jiangyi province. For example, he would ask about the grain output of a certain county, or how much tax a certain province paid this year. How could they remember so clearly? What they were most afraid of was that the emperor would ask them what the buildings of various places looked like, or what kind of fish and prawns were in the rivers. Although many of these things sounded unreasonable, as long as the emperor knew, and they did not, it would not be simple. When Li Longji saw that the people who wanted to do something to Zhang Zhong had fallen silent, he did not plan on letting them go immediately. After pondering for a moment, he said, "Investigate. Not only do we have to investigate the officials in Luoyang, we also have to investigate the officials in the capital. Based on salary, which family has the wrong amount of things and money. When the time comes, we will definitely punish them severely. Especially those officials who used luxury goods. See which family has expensive sofas or beautiful fish tanks and fish. If something happens to Zhang Zhong's family, we will definitely punish him with 3 years of salary and send him to a remote place. If anything happens to the other officials, we will also do the same." The meaning behind Li Longji's words was clear. Anyone who took something from the Zhang clan and Wang clan had to be careful. As long as he found out who gave it to them, he wouldn't ask who gave it to them. He would only ask if they could afford it. When the time came, he would take care of everything. Let's see if you're afraid of not having 3 years of salary, or if Zhang Zhong is afraid, or if you're worried about being sent to a remote place, or if Zhang Zhong is worried. Li Longji could not be blamed for doing this. Usually, the things he used were given by the Zhang family and Wang family. Whenever there was something he needed, the Zhang family and Wang family would pay for it. When the Zhang family and Wang family said that the money belonged to them, it felt like it belonged to them. After all, the Zhang family and Wang family did not spend much. They only used it normally. He had never heard of anyone from their family going to a brothel to spend 1,000 caddies. What was even more admirable was that they rarely had leftovers at home. They would not put a table full of good food and throw it away if they did not eat it. However, when it came to places that suffered disasters every year, they did not hesitate to take out money and directly sent it to those places under the name of the imperial court. The rest of the money was spent on research. For example, the medical school was a place that ate money. Who did not know how the Zhang family and Wang family earned their money? And how did they spend it? If they took care of his family, Jiangyi province's economy would drop by 50%, and this was not including his family's revenge. Gao Lishir did not say anything, but he was very happy. He looked at the people who accused Zhang Zhong one by one and remembered every single one of them. When the time came, he would write a letter to Xiaobao and not give anything to these people in the future. He understood what Li Longji meant. That was to say, even if you benefited from the Zhang family, you're not clean either. You clearly know what the Zhang family and Wang family's money are used for, but you still insist on using this matter as an example. Isn't it just because I went to the heavens once that you didn't impeach me? This is called repaying kindness with ingratitude. Take care of them all and send them to a remote place. Who would have a better life in the end? When Gao Lishir thought of this, he almost could not control his urge to laugh again. No matter which remote place they were sent to, the Zhang family and Wang family were still so powerful. Even if they were sent to the poorest place, they would still have a way to build it up. Lingnan was an example. Let's see how you're going to survive. Gao Lishir was not the only one who had such thoughts. Zhang Jiling also thought of this. Hence, he took a step forward and said, "Your Majesty, I think this is a good idea. If there's anything wrong with any of the officials, why don't we send them to the dangerous place in Lingnan together with Zhang Zhong? Lu Zhou can be skipped. There are other places in Lingnan." These words were so powerful that they shocked the officials who accused Zhang Zhong. Even those who did not accuse him had doubts in their hearts. In Great Tang, only Zhang Zhong could live a comfortable life when he was sent to Lingnan. Who else had the ability to do so? The imperial court suddenly fell silent. No one said a word as they waited for Li Longji to make the final decision. Li Longji looked at Zhang Juling with satisfaction. This suggestion was really good. How many people could take the initiative to go to Lingnan like Zhang Zhong? When the decision was about to be made, the officials who accused Zhang Zhong just now changed their words one after another. Their words made people blush. All the shortcomings of the Zhang family and Wang family just now were turned into merits. Those who accused Zhang Zhong of colluding with merchants changed their words and said that Zhang Zhong might be helping merchants to make money and prosper the local economy. Now, they all knew this set of theories and had learned a lot of vocabulary. Those who said that Zhang Zhong brought people to Buxing County might be saying that Zhang Zhong wanted to let the officials in the eastern capital know more about Gongji province. Those who said that Zhang Zhong had many soldiers and good weapons also had their own excuses. They said that Zhang Zhong and Wang family had many officials, and some of them were people who led troops to war. They hired more guards to practice formations, not for their own use. As for weapons, of course, it was to test new equipment and take a lot of risks. Li Longji wanted to rush down and strangle these people to death. Hearing that the people below found new excuses to exonerate the Zhang family and Wang family, Li Longji whispered to Gao Lisher, "Today, I am really moved. Zhang family and Wang family have done a lot of business in private, but the money they earned is also there. As long as the court needs it, they will take it out. They have never hesitated. These dozens of officials have no money, but they are working hard to make money. Do they really think that I don't know? When they have nothing to do, they will go to restaurants and treat each other to meals. Zhang family and Wang family have always been worthy of the court and the people. There is no place where the people say that they are not good. What about the officials? I don't know what they think all day. Sometimes I think, what is loyalty? What is evil? What is right? What is evil? What do you think?" Gao Lisher rarely heard the emperor speak like this in court. It seemed that he was really angry. It should be because the person who impeached Zhang Zhong was unable to prevent the emperor from ascending to heaven that day. So he vented all his anger on Zhang Zhong. After thinking for a while, he also replied in a low voice, "The benefits of war, the way of the economy. Using it for right is right, using it for evil is evil, and the way of power is the same." Li Longji nodded and listened to the people below continue to change their words. He felt very bored and said, "Let's talk about this later. First, let's talk about the bridge. It is inconvenient to travel between the two sides of the Yellow River. How should we build it? I think that we should ask Zhang Zhong about this. He has successfully built a bridge in Shuzhou." At this time, the person who said that Zhang Zhong's ability was not good stood up and said, "I think that we should ask Zhang Zhong. He has successfully built a bridge in Shuzhou." Chapter 690. Hearing this official's words, Li Longji really wanted to cough up a mouthful of phlegm and spit it on his face. Whenever there was a problem, he would think of the Zhang family and the Wang family. He had just been impeaching them. How could a person change so quickly? A few others, who had just been impeached, also voiced their agreement. Some even said that they should do what Xu Zhou had done and let Zhang Zhong think of a solution himself. That way, they would be able to see more of his capabilities. To put it nicely, wasn't it just not asking the imperial court to fork out the money? Li Longji looked at this minor official from the Ministry of Revenue and thought to himself, when it comes to spending money, your heart aches. Why didn't you say that just now? It was very easy to get the Zhang family and the Wang family to fork out the money. There was no need to issue any edict. All he had to do was write a letter to them and tell them that the people on both sides of the Yellow River did not have it easy. They would naturally be willing to fork out the money. But if they really did fork out the money, what would happen to the people impeaching them in court today? Vermin, they were all vermin. They couldn't do good things, so they did such immoral things. Li Longji's expression darkened and did not say anything. He just stared at the person who had just spoken. The pressure from his stare was too strong. The person who was being stared at regretted not stepping forward. Zhang Shuo could also guess what the emperor was thinking. Zhang family and the Wang family could fork out the money. Zhang family and the Wang family were also willing to fork out the money for the sake of the people. But once they fork out the money, none of the people who impeached Zhang Zhong in court today would have a good ending. Otherwise, how would they answer to Zhang Zhong? Now, there were two choices. The first was to issue an imperial edict and order Zhang Zhong to fork out the money to repair the bridge. Then, everyone who impeached Zhang Zhong could go home and farm. The second was to have the impeached people think of a solution themselves and not let Zhang Zhong fork out the money. Li Longji stared at this person for a while and asked, "Do you think that Zhang Zhong will be willing to fork out the money?" In reply to your majesty, this official feels that Zhang Zhong will definitely be willing. Everyone knows that he is good to the people. Moreover, he does not spend his money recklessly. Other than building 2 houses for the children in his family, he does not spend much money normally. This person had been stared at for a long time and was confused. He opened his mouth and blurted it out. As soon as he said it, he knew it was over. Just now he had been impeached, but now it changed. If it were anyone else, they would not be willing. As expected, Li Longji spoke up. "Since that's the case, we will order you to speak to Zhang Zhong and persuade him to fork out the money. If he refuses to fork out the money, you will. Think of a way yourself." It was not that Li Longji did not have the money to repair the bridge. In recent years, the royal court's revenue had been very good. This was especially true for San Shuixian, Luzhou, and the other places that were related to the Zhang family and Wang family. Li Longji knew that this was not because the Zhang family and Wang family could not earn money faster. It was because they did not want to. Recently, he had done some research on economic knowledge. The methods used by the Zhang family and Wang family were very gentle. They were based on increasing productivity. It was not like the quasi-cash flow method they used to deal with Tubo, nor was it like the method they used to deal with the people from the Four Seas Academy in Buxin District. Now he understood that it was not that the Zhang family did not know how to do it, but that they did not use it. Otherwise, the impact on Great Tang's economy would be too great. If they wanted to earn money, they had many methods. However, they would firmly suppress it. They would not do it themselves, and they would not allow their business partners to have crooked thoughts. Therefore, in terms of finances, they were still quite rich. If they let the Zhang family and Wang family fork out the money, it would only be for the construction of the bridge. It could also stimulate the local economy. However, the return cycle was too long. If they let the Zhang family and Wang family fork out the money directly, they would use other methods to transfer the money to other areas. It was a very mysterious method. At the same time, it could also stimulate the local industries. This was the most important thing. Of course, the Zhang family and Wang family had too much money. If they were not allowed to spend some money, they would be worried. According to Yao Chong and Bai Go, the money earned by the Zhang family and Wang family would be used in other areas according to a certain proportion. They would not keep so much money in hand. Earning money seemed to be the simplest thing for the Zhang family and Wang family. Therefore, they did not care how much they spent. They only cared about whether it was worth it or not. Thinking about this matter, Li Longji did not care about the people below who were so scared that they were kneeling and trembling. He whispered to Gao Lisher again, "What do you think is worth spending the money on and what is not?" This time, Gao Lisher did not react. The main reason was that Li Longji's train of thought jumped too far. The reason was all because of Xiaobao and Cuckoo. When they did things, their train of thought jumped even more. No one knew what they were thinking. The matter was clearly in front of them, but in the end, it was different from what they thought. Gao Lisher knew that he did not catch up, so he could only say, "Your Majesty, I think that if Your Majesty says it is worth it, then it is worth it. I also agree to let the Zhang family and Wang family fork out the money to build the bridge on the Yellow River. Last time, Xiaobao wrote to me that he and Cuckoo prepared 200,000 strings of cash and asked if there was anything the court needed. They don't need this money now, and want to use it on the country's infrastructure before spring is too far away. They said that as a son, he should give face to his father. Speaking of this, Gao Lisher's emotions fluctuated. He did not acknowledge this son for nothing. He had just acknowledged him for less than 3 months, and the other side was immediately willing to take out 200,000 strings of cash. He was clear that this money was not given for free. It was specially made for him. Li Longji was very surprised. He looked at Gao Lisher. If he did not feel that Gao Lisher was loyal, he would have snatched his son away. Why would Xiao Bao take out 200,000 strings of cash for no reason? With his means, he could use this 200,000 strings of cash to earn more money in a short period of time. He actually took it out just to give face to Gao Lisher. After thinking for a moment, Li Longji continued to ignore the person kneeling there and saying a bunch of nonsense, begging for forgiveness. He said to Gao Lisher, "These 200,000 strings of cash cannot be used. It is not easy for Xiao Bao and Cuckoo to earn money unless they are allowed to go to other countries to earn money. In Great Tang, what they earn is their capital. Just now, I asked you whether it is worth it for the Zhang family and Wang family to spend money. It is not about how much it can bring to the family, but whether it can make the lives of the commoners better. Most of the time, the family is the one who is spending money. What do you think should be done with these two families?" Gao Lisher's train of thought finally caught up. So that was the case. That was easy to handle. He said, "Your Majesty, Zhang family and Wang family cannot be promoted anymore. Zhang Zhong will probably enter the capital next year. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo will only be promoted to a rank 7 official at most. If they enter the capital, they can be suppressed to rank 8. It is not like the other places where they will be promoted to rank 7. Zhang family and Wang family will not ask for any monetary rewards. Their family does not lack money. Why don't we look at other aspects? Wang Chao's family is doing well now, but they are a little too free. Isn't that right? That's fine. Let's do it this way." Li Longji immediately understood. He needed to find the person who was released because of the slanderous words of the crowd and make some arrangements. He nodded and agreed. At this time, the official from the Ministry of Revenue was still kneeling. His forehead was red. It seemed that he had just kowtowed. It was not easy. In this imperial court, there were not many officials who would kneel and kowtow. Just because of an order, he became like this. Li Longji was very satisfied. He did not say that it was because someone else impeached Zhang Zhong. Instead, it was because he rode a hot air balloon into the sky. Of course, impeaching Zhang Zhong should not be done. It could be done, but it could not be done based on the wealth and ability of the Zhang family and Wang family. For example, they could be accused of corruption. If it had to be about money, then it could not be done. Not only did the Zhang family and Wang family use their money to help the imperial court, but more importantly, they had received benefits from the Zhang family and Wang family. If they were to target this matter, then wouldn't that mean that they were not satisfied with the imperial court even after receiving benefits from the imperial court? Seeing the official kneeling and kowtowing, Li Longji did not have any pity for him. He knew that if he let the official off this time, then he would be disheartening the Zhang family and Wang family. In that case, he might not be able to take out good things in the future. Thus, Li Longji said to the people below, "This matter is settled. You take this imperial decree and look for Zhang Zhong." After saying that, he no longer cared about this matter and started to talk about other matters. The officials acted as if nothing had happened and started to talk about other matters. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not know that their families had to fork out money again. In the end, the people who would benefit from it would not be their families, but their mother's family from the Zhang family and Wang Wan's family. The two of them did not know. In fact, it did not matter even if they knew. This was because their plan was progressing very smoothly. As long as they did not obstruct their plan, the matter of money was a small matter. "Xiao Bao, are you really going to make a move on Tubo?" "Tubo is still quite obedient now," Wang Wan asked when she saw Zhang Xiaobao preparing to send the letter to Tubo. "Of course, I know that they are obedient. They want to be dishonest, but they can't win against you. Their economy is also not good, so they can only bear with it. I will not give them any chance. I will deal with them as much as I can. Otherwise, the people I sent out for so long will be wasted. You killed their people because they made a move on the people of Wangjiang. I took care of their economy because they actually dared to take the initiative to play economic war with me. I have to teach them well. Their methods are still too soft. I have to let them know what economic war is like when it really starts. Zhang Xiaobao did not stop writing. There was also a coded comparison book beside him. This time, the letter could not be written out directly to prevent others from stopping it. It had to be written as a secret letter. Wang Wan really did not know Zhang Xiaobao's specific plan. She also did not know to what extent Zhang Xiaobao was going to deal with Tubo. The main reason was that once Zhang Xiaobao started to move, the steps of doing things were unpredictable. Xiaobao, tell me the truth. What is your ultimate goal? Wang Wan could not think of anything, so she asked. It's nothing much. I just want to slightly impact Tubo's financial situation so that they won't know what's valuable and what's not. Since I want to fight an economic war, I naturally won't target a certain region in Tubo. That wouldn't be called an economic war. The real war is against countries. For example, America against Japan a long time ago, and they against Russia. For example, against the British pound, against the Thai baht, against the Hong Kong dollar, against the Korean won, against. I know. Don't say any more. You are too ruthless. Also, when you targeted the Hong Kong dollar, he failed miserably. You just want to mess up Tubo's financial system, don't you? You want to make them unable to recover within 10 years, right? Wang Wan did not wait for Zhang Xiaobao to finish explaining and continued. At that time, there were not many people who knew about finance, so they could not handle it. But when it came to Zhang Xiaobao and her era, there were very few people who could continue to stir up trouble like Zhang Xiaobao. That required more difficult skills, and the way of jumping was even more extraordinary. It was not something that could be imitated by just finding an example. Any kind of method, once exposed, would be immediately known by others. Zhang Xiaobao had never repeated his methods. It made people gnash their teeth in hatred, but there was nothing they could do. After all, every time was different, and they could not find any pattern. If there was a pattern, it would be that before Zhang Xiaobao made a move, he would definitely use other methods to lay the groundwork. However, there were too few people who could see the groundwork. There were so few that there were only 1 or 2 people with the same ambition as Zhang Xiaobao, and they were his partners. Zhang Xiaobao was still writing, and at the same time, he said, "It is not 10 years. I will make them unable to recover. I will provide Li Longji with a reason to invade. Oh no, it is a reason to maintain peace. Just wait. This time, I will completely destroy Tubo. I am not willing to argue with them. I don't have the time. Then I will wait and see what kind of methods you have. Your father is coming. You have to think of how to welcome him." Wang Wan did not ask this time. She hoped that she could guess Zhang Xiaobao's methods. She did not believe that Zhang Xiaobao could be so arrogant that no one could compare to him. Don't keep talking about your father. He is your father-in-law. If you don't listen to him, he will teach you a lesson. Zhang Xiaobao was in a good mood, and he casually joked with Wang Wan. Wang Wan wanted to refute, but she suddenly became silent. She did not say anything and just looked at Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao was a little surprised. Under normal circumstances, Wang Wan should be fighting back. He stopped writing and turned to look at Wang Wan, asking, "Why? Since you have admitted your identity, then be more obedient." Wang Wan still did not say anything. She just looked at Zhang Xiaobao until he could not continue writing. She then said, "Don't play tricks with me. Did you think that I did not learn psychology before? You are the best. Humph. You are the best. I will get someone to find some mountain vegetables. I will make a box for you to eat at noon. What soup do you want to go with it?" Zhang Xiaobao saw that Wang Wan did not fall for his trick, and he could only change his strategy. "I will eat whatever you eat. Also, my family is coming. Hurry up and write. Let's go and welcome them. I will be staying with my mother tonight. I will not be staying with you. Wang Wan had already received the news that Zhang Zhong was bringing his family into the county. She needed to go and welcome them. She also remembered that she had not seen her family for a long time. She really missed them. Who cares about you? I will tell little Yuan a story tonight. I won't be accompanying you. Zhang Xiaobao wrote another 2 words. He finally finished writing a secret letter. You are not allowed to tell ghost stories. If you dare to scare him, I will not let you off. Wang Wan said as she helped Zhang Xiaobao put the letter into the envelope. If you don't want to tell me, then don't. I will tell him something else. Come with me to meet the people from the Four Seas Academy. They came to invite us today. I don't know what they are planning. We did not collect all of their oars this time, right? Zhang Xiaobao said as he rubbed his wrist that was sore from writing. We did not collect all of their oars, but there was no one else who collected the rest of the oars. They can't sell them. I was wondering why you said that you were not in a hurry. So they already had this plan. Why can't they sell their oars? Could it be because we collected them before? Wang Wan asked in confusion as she followed Zhang Xiaobao out. She felt that things were definitely not that simple. Zhang Xiaobao walked to the very front. This time, the people from the Four Seas Academy set the meeting place at the Fengwu Pavilion. He said as he walked, actually, it's nothing much. It's very simple. It's because we did not refine the silver after we received it. Other people did not know about this and thought that the refinement was not successful, so they were afraid of being fooled. Moreover, the local infrastructure is currently being built. Other than a portion of people who did not follow us, the other merchants have all taken out their money to invest. How would they have any spare money to buy oars? And the portion of people who did not follow us did not want to, but lacked capital. They were the people who followed us to speculate on the price of silver. Actually, I really hoped that there would be outsiders who would come and interfere. At that time, I would be able to relax a lot. As long as other people have conflicts in certain areas, I would be able to take advantage of them. Unfortunately, this county is still not enough. Other people simply did not come. That's not it. What do you mean not coming? Other people clearly know that they can obtain benefits here, yet they still don't come. Do you think that other people are idiots? It's because you and I are here that other people are worried that if they really come, they will be schemed against by the two of us. The one they are most worried about is actually me. They are afraid that I will directly steal all of their money, and they can't beat me. Wang Wan said to Zhang Xiaobao. The two of them talked as they walked, all the way until they arrived at the Fengwu Pavilion. When they entered, a worker immediately came over and told them which room the people from the Four Seas Academy were in. As soon as the two of them entered the room, a group of people inside stood up. Yes, a group of people. It was as if they felt that if there were fewer people, there would be no imposing manner. The people from the Four Seas Academy did not come any less this time. Yamamoto stood at the very front and very politely said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "Why didn't you call someone to come over first? We would have waited to welcome you." The other people also followed behind in a low voice. Zhang Xiaobao was not willing to talk nonsense with others at all. He directly said, "Tell me, why did you call us here this time? If you want to take advantage of us, then don't. It's not that I look down on you, but with your methods, it is completely useless." Yes. With young Master Zhang taking action, it is naturally impossible for us to take advantage of you. Today, we didn't call the two of you here to take advantage of you, especially when it comes to Miss Wang. We have no intention of taking advantage of her at all. A person next to Yamamoto, who also looked like he came from Japan, did not seem to be willing to lose his imposing manner and said to Zhang Xiaobao. The others did not expect him to speak like this. Imposing manner was not important. What was important was how to get benefits. Hearing him say this, they knew that things were going to be bad. Sure enough, what Zhang Xiaobao hated the most was people talking about women. When he heard this person's words, he kicked out and hit this person's manhood. This person screamed and fell to the ground. Zhang Xiaobao did not take a second look and said to the others, "When I came here today, I was in a good mood. But because of him, I am very unhappy. So when I discussed things with you, the first thing I said was that there will be no room for negotiation. If there is anyone who is not satisfied, you can leave immediately. I promise that within 5 days, the Four Seas Academy will be closed. If you are not satisfied, you can try." The scene suddenly fell into a deadlock. While everyone was lamenting that Zhang Xiaobao was not easy to talk to, most of them were complaining about the people lying on the ground who had not yet gotten up. Of all things to say, why did they have to mention Wang Wan? Wasn't this courting death? Wang Wan also spoke at this time. "Even if Xiaobao closes the Four Seas Academy, as long as we are not satisfied with your methods, I promise that within half a month, we will organize a war fleet and go to your place to take a look." This was power. People with power would never say anything to others. When did the great Tang need to show goodwill to other small countries? Especially in the current situation. Everyone sighed inwardly. There was no other way. Who asked these two people to be so powerful? Even if there were only two of them, they did not dare to make a move. The people of the great Tang did not dare to make a move because they were afraid that their families would be finished. The Japanese did not dare to make a move because they were afraid that the great Tang would attack their own country. All of them revealed helpless smiles. Fortunately, Yamamoto had good self-control. After hearing what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan said, he still had the same smile as before and replied, "Of course. We just came to discuss something with the two of you. We will definitely deal with the people who offended the two of you. Do the two of you agree? That is your problem. If you want to deal with them, then deal with them. If you don't want to deal with them, it has nothing to do with us. Tell us, why did you come to find us this time?" Zhang Xiaobao did not treat the other party as someone who could sit on the same level as him. He appeared very arrogant. However, it was precisely because of his arrogance that made the other party feel more comfortable. They were afraid that Zhang Xiaobao would be polite to them. If that was the case, it would not be easy to talk. Looking at Wang Wan's expression was as calm as water. She did not smile. "It's easy. It's easy." Yamamoto called the waiter of the restaurant and casually ordered a few dishes. He did not let Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan order any more. He knew the identity of the two people. If he really let them order casually, they would not be able to eat today. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan directly sat at the head of the table and on the left side of the table. They did not care whether they ordered or not. After ordering, Yamamoto smiled and asked Zhang Xiaobao, "I wonder if Child Zhang wants to buy more ore? I can help Child Zhang find a place. It doesn't matter whether you buy it or not. The place you find can only be your country. If you are willing to sell it, I will buy it at a low price. If you are not willing to sell it, you can keep it. I am going to write a memorial and send it to the court, asking the court to restrict the things that Japan needs." Zhang Xiaobao was still as arrogant and casual as before. Yamamoto's expression also changed. His eyes narrowed. After a few breaths, he returned to his original state and asked, "Is there any misunderstanding between us, Child Zhang?" "There's no misunderstanding. I just don't like you guys. Let's talk about what we can talk about today. If we can't talk about it, go back and think about it carefully. Where should we get involved and where should we not? Don't think that you can achieve your goal by gathering people from a certain place and saying some lies. It's useless." Zhang Xiaobao's negotiation method today was like this, tough, because he did not intend to negotiate at all. He just came here to play. Chapter 691. The waiter served the appetizers and gave Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan a big bowl full of soy milk. The two of them liked to drink this and had been drinking a lot of it recently. After Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan arrived at Baoxing County, they found that the soy milk here was better. The ground soy milk was sweet without adding sugar, and the fragrance of the soy milk was very strong. Yamamoto saw that the waiter gave Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan soy milk without any instructions, so he knew that the Fengwu Pavilion cared about them. They only had a bowl of soy milk and each of them was drinking it with a small bamboo tube, making a slurping sound. They didn't respect others at all. Yamamoto rolled his eyes and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "The relationship between the Four Seas Academy and young Master Zhang and Miss Wang is like the relationship between you two drinking soy milk together. We share benefits. If you two have any requests, you can discuss it with the Four Seas Academy." Don't keep saying the Four Seas Academy. When did the Four Seas Academy become yours? That's ours, isn't it, Cuckoo? Zhang Xiaobao retorted. Wang Wan stopped to catch her breath and nodded vigorously. Seeing that Zhang Xiaobao didn't give him any face, Zhang Xiaobao immediately changed his words and said, "I didn't mention the academy. I meant that we have a good relationship with you, just like how you and Cuckoo are close." Really? So close? Why didn't I know? Cuckoo and I just want to help each other when fighting. You guys agree? Send troops to Xingyuan Island and kill all the local people who resist. Then I'll believe you. Zhang Xiaobao looked at Yamamoto and said. Seeing that he changed the topic to the newly discovered island again, Yamamoto had no choice but to reply. That place is too far away. It's inconvenient to go there once. How about changing the terms? Then I'll help you. I have a ship. I'll help you transport as many oars as you can. Every time, half of the oars will be my freight. Zhang Xiaobao proposed a new idea. Isn't half too much? If we do that, we'll just keep losing money. Wait a minute. Young Master Zhang said that he's willing to set sail. How fast can you go back and forth? Yamamoto was about to refuse when he suddenly thought of something and asked again. Fast, of course it's fast. We have the best ship, so how can it not be fast? Zhang Xiaobao said confidently. Yamamoto finally showed a sincere smile. Allow me to go back and think about this matter. I will give young Master Zhang an answer as soon as possible. I heard that young Master Zhang's poultry and livestock are well raised. I wonder if you can go and have a look? Sure, let's go in a bit. Zhang Xiaobao said very politely. At this time, the other dishes were also served. Yamamoto didn't persuade Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to eat. He brought the people from the Four Seas Academy to eat in a hurry, and then impatiently followed Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to the Amen. Behind the Amen, there was a courtyard for two people. The poultry were hatched here, and there was also a house that was built some time ago after various places used a temperature timer. After Pomegranate mysteriously talked to Zhang Xiaobao for a while, she was bored and kept watch outside the house. Occasionally, she would go in to take a look. At night, she would find time to go to the other rooms to see how the fungus and mushrooms were growing. When the group entered the courtyard, many chicks and ducklings had already hatched. They were fluffy like little fur balls and looked very cute. Xiao Hong was feeding them cut vegetable leaves, and the sound of chirping was chaotic. Yamamoto and the others looked very carefully, especially at Xiao Hong. To be precise, they were staring at the food bowl in her hand. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't urge them, and slowly walked in front to lead the way. After a few glances, Yamamoto and the others didn't see anything special. They could only continue to follow, their eyes looking at the surrounding environment from time to time. As they walked, they came to the place where the livestock were raised. In fact, there were only pigs here. The pig house was built with cement and was very clean. The little pigs were washed until they weren't so dirty. When they saw people coming, they thought that they were being fed, so they snorted. Young Master Zhang, is this cement? Yamamoto knew about cement. The rich and powerful in Beijing used it. The big places even used cement to build methane pools. It was clean and expensive, but ordinary people couldn't get it. If you want to buy it, you can say what you want to do first. When the time comes, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family will send people to make it for you personally. They won't sell the cement directly for you to use. Used cement blocks had been found before, but found that they couldn't be used anymore. He didn't know how they were made. If they were used to build city walls, it would be very good. Yamamoto felt that the opportunity had come. Zhang Xiaobao seemed to be unguarded. Yes, it's made of cement. If you can learn to make it in every place, there will be fewer diseases in the livestock, and they will grow faster. Then can you sell us some cement? We are going to transport it back to China to build a pig house. Yamamoto asked again. I'm not selling, but I can make an exchange. A ship of silver ore in exchange for a ship of cement, and I'll give you the technology to build a biogas pool. Zhang Xiaobao hesitated for a moment and proposed a new idea. Can you really exchange it? Because he didn't know what the cement was made of, Yamamoto couldn't estimate the specific value. He thought that exchanging one ship for another was just a small loss. Really? Zhang Xiaobao was very sure. Wang Wan reached out to pinch him and said to Yamamoto, don't listen to Xiaobao's nonsense. It's useless to exchange the cement with you, and it's very cheap. It's a lie to exchange it for a ship of ore. Besides, no matter how much cement you have, you can't figure out how it's made. It's a long journey, and it's not worth it, so we won't exchange it. Yamamoto just wanted to bargain. At this time, when he heard Wang Wan's words, he blinked a few times and said very shamelessly, young Master Zhang has just agreed. How can you go back on your word? Even if we exchange a ship, I can send it back and show it to others. Maybe I can get a reward. At that time, I will definitely not forget you. Is young Master Zhang not keeping his word? Who said I don't keep my word? Change, then change a ship. I can still make the decision here. I'll deal with you tonight. Zhang Xiaobao's last words were said to Wang Wan. Wang Wan was angry and didn't say anything. She walked quickly in front, as if she didn't want to talk to Zhang Xiaobao. I've made a fool of myself. It's all because I usually spoil her too much. When will we exchange? Zhang Xiaobao also explained to Yamamoto and the others. Yamamoto and the others found it funny, but they couldn't show it. Seeing that Zhang Xiaobao agreed, Yamamoto immediately said, some of the ore will come tomorrow. It's estimated that one ship will arrive in 3 days. Then we'll exchange it in 3 days. Let's go. I'll show you other places. Zhang Xiaobao didn't care about Wang Wan anymore. He led Yamamoto and the others to look around. Every time they arrived, he would explain to Yamamoto. After turning a few places and seeing that a separate house was not far away, Zhang Xiaobao's footsteps suddenly stopped, turned around, and walked away. However, he didn't mention what was inside the house at all. Young Master Zhang, here? Yamamoto was puzzled. He pointed to the house and asked, that's an empty house. Let's go. I'll show you something better. Zhang Xiaobao's eyes didn't meet Yamamoto's. He evaded the question and walked to another place. At this time, Wang Wan's voice suddenly came from a place not too far away. Ouch, it hurts. Someone come quickly. As soon as the voice came out, Pomegranate, who was guarding in front of the house, immediately ran to the place where the voice came from. Zhang Xiaobao didn't care about Yamamoto and also ran over, looking very nervous. Yamamoto took this opportunity and winked at the two people behind him, asking them to follow and take a look. He glanced around, ran 2 steps, and flashed into the house. As soon as he came in, Yamamoto found that the house was empty, as Zhang Xiaobao had said. There were layers of wooden shelves inside. From a low position, he could see that there was sand in the middle of the shelves, and there was something growing in the sand. He glanced around again. There was a table on the left wall of the house, and there was a piece of paper with words written on it. Yamamoto quickly leaned over and looked carefully. He saw that it said, Top Secret. The radish newly cultivated by the Sinong Sea is bitter and cannot be planted. However, this radish can be planted into ginseng. The specific technique is as follows. Yamamoto's eyes widened. He couldn't care about anything else. He turned page by page. His eyes swept back and forth on the words, wishing he could have a few more pairs of eyes. If it were someone else who wrote such a thing, Yamamoto would definitely treat that person as a fool. How could a radish turn into a ginseng? But this technique was made by the Zhang family, so he could treat it as normal. The Zhang family had many strange things. Who knew how the family made it? After reading it once, Yamamoto was afraid that he couldn't remember it. So he read it again from the beginning. He remembered the key points clearly. The first was that the radish seed must be found a way to get it. The second was the thermometer. A radish actually needed a thermometer. The first one was easy to deal with. He could bribe the people of the Serenade temple, but the second one was troublesome. Where could he get so many thermometers? It was okay if he spent money to buy others' thermometers. He didn't care if they reported that they had been stolen or lost in the river. But he couldn't just plant one at a time, because it was also mentioned that he needed to use the blood of a crocodile. It had to be fresh and could only be used once. He even needed a whale's eye. No matter how many he planted, he had to use at least one at a time. He didn't know how the Zhang family figured it out. After reading it twice, Yamamoto finally felt that he had memorized most of it. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly thought of something. He plucked up the courage to dig a little of the sand on a wooden shelf. He reached in and pulled, and something was pulled out. If there were doubts before, Yamamoto was now sure, because what he took out was a ginseng. Looking at the ginseng, Yamamoto had a feeling of jealousy. Why was the Zhang family so powerful that they could even plant ginseng? At this time, 2 coughs suddenly came from outside. Yamamoto didn't dare to be negligent. He put the ginseng back, hurriedly wiped it on the sand, and ran out in a flash. He stood back in the team and shook his head at the few people who looked over, indicating that they shouldn't ask anything now. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao appeared with Wang Wan on his back. Wang Wan cried and said, "I don't want you to care about me. Didn't you ignore me? I'll walk by myself. Even if I break my leg, I don't want you to care." Zhang Xiaobao didn't say a word. When he walked in front of Yamamoto and the others, he said helplessly, "I beat her until she cried. I'll go back and continue to discipline her. That's all for today. Remember to quickly transport the ores. This time, the ones that are transported will be changed as well. Don't sell them again. As for the ones that have already been sold, forget it." After that, Zhang Xiaobao left with the still crying Wang Wan on his back. Pomegranate returned to the front of the house and sat down. A few guards came from elsewhere and signaled Yamamoto and the others to leave with them. Zhang Xiaobao carried Wang Wan to a place where there was no one around and put Wang Wan down. The two of them reached out at the same time and gave each other a high five. "Yeah, Xiaobao, you're really amazing. How did you know that they would come to steal the technology?" Some time ago, Gao Lisha wrote a letter saying that the Serenade spent a lot of money to research new radishes, but it failed. The second generation of radishes was very bitter. They were still young and almost lost confidence. Now it's solved. I didn't know that they would take the initiative to ask to see it. First, get a house ready. Even if they don't come, I'll find a way to trick them. Now it's easy. As for the cement, get someone to remove the outer packaging when they send it here. Just put it there. If it really doesn't work, spray a little water. Don't spray too much and be seen through. Use a ship to transport back in bulk. I really want to see how much of the cement will be wasted due to moisture absorption. After Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, he quickly found a place to write a letter and send it to the capital as soon as possible. He couldn't let the Serenade people sell the radishes cheaply. Beside the river outside the Luo village in Buxing County, Luo Xiang'er had nothing to do today. She held a book in her hand and sat on a stone under a big tree. Her 2 legs were kicking back and forth in the air, and her eyes were looking back and forth at the book. From time to time, she would turn a page. There were not only words marked with pinyin on the pages, but also pictures. It was full of stories. Luo Xiang'er had just learned the new pinyin and was not very proficient in it, but she was still better than Arya. You also had the pronunciation, but if she wanted to understand the pronunciation of a word, she had to understand the words used to mark the sound. It was very tiring to learn, unlike the things that were easy to remember now. There were only 40 words in total, and she just had to memorize them. She didn't know that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had spent a lot of effort on these 40 words. They had revised them many times before they became the necessary textbooks for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. They were mainly prepared for Xiaobei and the others. For their younger siblings, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would do anything. The other children who were still playing were very envious of Luo Xiang'er. She recognized a good sister and could see the good things first. They still had to wait for a while before they could come in contact with them. Luo Xianger was not so selfish. After reading the story, she would tell it to others. If someone wanted to see the pictures, she would let them see it, but they were not allowed to touch the book to avoid damaging it. Just as Luo Xianger was engrossed in reading, a mighty team came on the road. At the front of the team, there was a little girl in a white dress. She was leading the team, swaying and looking around with her big eyes. Behind her were other children, who were also very curious about this place. Because of their existence, the speed of the team was suppressed. No one dared to go around them. The little girl walking in front looked at the rice seedlings in the field. When she raised her head and saw the people under the big tree, she said happily, "There's a person." Chapter 692. Xiao Bei had a reason to be happy. When they were walking on the road earlier, many people would hide far away when they saw the team. Even if they were curious about the big house and the team, they did not dare to come close. The little girl was even more scared and did not dare to show her head. She did not expect to meet someone who was not afraid. She had already seen the team, but she was still sitting there leisurely reading. Xiao Bei wanted to find someone to ask about her brother and sister. When she saw that Luo Xianger didn't run away, she lifted her princess dress with both hands and ran to Luo Xianger's side. She struggled to climb onto the rock and leaned over to read together. Luo Xianger did not care who was passing by, let alone be afraid. Her sister had said that she must have the temperament of a lady. She must be calm in the face of chaos, and remain calm even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of her. But whose family was this little girl from? Why was she so pretty and likable? Glancing at the new little girl, Luo Xianger smiled and said, "Do you want to know the story? Coaxing a child? This is called a tortoise and a rabbit race." Xiao Bei had nothing to do all day. Other than eating, sleeping, playing, she was being carried by others and told stories. How could she not know what the picture was? She could even read a small part of the words. Luo Xianger was not an adult. When she saw that someone younger than her knew the story, she asked curiously, "How do you know? How old are you?" 3 years old. There's another one, saying Little Tortoise and Little Rabbit competed again. The rabbit lost again. There's a river, but the rabbit didn't jump across it. Xiao Bei was a little nervous. His words were not very fluent, but he still managed to express himself clearly. "Ha ha ha." Luo Xianger covered her mouth and laughed. At this time, the other little guys also came close. Some climbed on the stone by themselves, some pushed others up. Everyone was expressing their own thoughts. It was a mess. Luo Xianger did not know who to listen to. She looked at the group of younger brothers and sisters and found that they were all made of good materials. She touched the clothes of the little girl who came first and knew that she had a similar piece of gauze at home. She had asked someone and found that the gauze was not silk that was usually worth 200 copper coins. It could be worth 20 strings of coins or 200 strings of coins. Ordinary people with a little money could not buy it. She was not willing to take it out to make clothes. So why did this little girl wear it? Seeing that someone was touching his clothes, Xiao Bei even posed. "Do I look good?" "It looks good," Luo Xianger said honestly. At the same time, she wondered if she should also have a set of clothes made for herself. "If you can tell me about my brother and sister, I'll give you one." Xiao Bei put forward her terms. "No, I have one too. I'll make it tomorrow." "Who are your brothers and sisters?" Luo Xianger didn't want a servant girl's things. "Ah, you have it too? This is called Southern Sea Pearl Muslin. It's the sign of the sea and clouds. It's only given and not sold. Xiao Yuan, what do you say?" Xiao Bei still knew what material the clothes on her body were made of. Ever since Xiao Yuan was tripped by the horse tripping rope, he was a little afraid of Xiao Bei. When he heard Xiao Bei's question, he immediately said, "The promontory is accompanied by the end of the world. It shouldn't exist in the mortal world, but only hangs in the clouds. Money is priceless." "Are you Xiao Bei?" Luo Xianger guessed. Eh. Xiao Bei was stunned. You know? Stupid. When other people hear about the sea and clouds, of course they know. Xiao Yuan said to Xiao Bei. Xiao Bei puffed up his cheeks. You're the stupid one. Come at me, if you dare. Luo Xiang. Finally knew who the people who came were. She always heard from her brother and sister that they had younger brothers and sisters. They were all very interesting, smart, and liked to bicker. It was true. The muslin that her sister gave her was called Southern Sea Pearl Muslin. It seemed to be the best one. Even Xiao Bei wore it. When she thought of this, Luo Xiang felt very happy. She shouted to the other children who were running away, "Don't be afraid. My brother and sister's family are here." When the children who ran away heard this, they ran back even faster. They were not afraid anymore. They surrounded the group of children who were younger than them and looked at them one by one. The children also looked at the people who surrounded them. They were not afraid. They were already used to being surrounded. Luo Xiang held Xiao Bei's hand and began to talk about her brother and sister. Xiao Bei did not care if he could understand the details. As long as he felt that she was praising his brother and sister, he nodded vigorously. The Zhang family and Wang family's group stopped. The guards who came from the side also stood still, waiting for the children to finish asking and come back. When Xiao Bei and the others came back, they brought Luo Xiang with them. Xiao Bei personally introduced her, saying that this sister was the sister that his brother and sister recognized. He also pulled her into the house for a tour and did not slowly walk in front of the group. The other children in the village got a lot of delicious food and fun things. They asked them to help inform Luo Xiang's family. Luo Xiang followed them into the county. The group's speed suddenly became faster. The two pigeons flapped their wings and flew back to the capital, returning to the embrace of their big family. For pigeons, there were many relatives in the capital. There was always a relative who was sent away in large batches. After a while, a few would fly back and forth. The pigeons in the capital were all under Gao Lisher's care. He found someone to learn how to raise them, train them, and then send them to various places. Luoyang and Buxin County sent the most pigeons. As long as the Zhang family and Wang family were there, they could not lack carrier pigeons. When they encountered Xiao Bei and Xiao Zhu, they suddenly did not want to eat anymore. Such a big matter had to be reported as quickly as possible. As for the carrier pigeons placed in other provinces, as long as there was not a mass uprising or the army of another country attacking, they could not be casually used for other small matters. Of course, it was fine to use them. Even if it was to send a letter to the capital, it would cost money. After all, it was not easy to raise and train pigeons. They also had to be transported in cages. When Gao Lisher obtained this right, there were really people who were willing to spend money to send a letter, especially those who had big business outside the capital. They did not care about the small fee. The advantage was that it was fast and time was money. There was one thing that Gao Lisher did very well. He did not open other people's letters. He sent the letter to whoever it belonged to. The place where the pigeons were sent did not need to spend money. Someone in the capital had to pay for it. If no one did, then the letter would not be sent. Furthermore, he would let the other side catch the person and pay for it. Every day, there were pigeons flying from all over the country. They earned a lot of money. A portion of the money was used to raise the pigeons, and the rest was given to Li Longji. Today, Gao Lisher received another letter from Buxin County. It was not written specifically for him. It was related to the Sinongsi Temple, so he could not leave it behind. After reading the letter, he came back to look for Li Longji. Li Longji was feeding the fish. Ever since Zhang Xiaobao gave Gao Lisher a large fish tank, Li Longji would ask Gao Lisher how the fish was doing. The fish was given by Gao Lisher's son, so it had a special meaning. He was embarrassed to ask Gao Lisher for it, but he missed it. Zhang Xiaobao knew about this matter, so he gave Li Longji another fish tank in case he could not control himself and snatched Gao Lisher's one day. He also gave Li Longji a lot of fish food and told him not to eat too much, or he would die from overeating. When Gao Lisher arrived, Li Longji had already fed the fish once. He was hesitating whether to feed the fish less. Feeding the fish was very interesting and satisfying. Li Shi, what's the good news? In the end, Li Longji did not feed the fish again. He was afraid that if the fish died, he would not be able to ask Xiaobao and Cuckoo for more. He put the rest of the fish back into the box and asked Gao Lishi, who had hurried over. When Gao Lishi passed the letter in his hand, he replied, "Your Majesty, good news. The Serenade Temple's newly cultivated radishes can make a lot of money." "Oh, there are people who like to eat bitter and small radishes? They are as thin as ginseng." Li Longji was very surprised. "Your Majesty, didn't you send a lot of radishes to Baoxin County a few days ago and ask Xiaobao and Cuckoo to think of a solution? If they do, they can make a lot of money. All the remaining seeds can be sold, and the radishes that are still alive can be sold as well. But in the future, don't cultivate such seeds anymore." Gao Lishi signaled Li Longji to read the letter. When Li Longji heard that the letter was from Baoxin County, he knew what was going on without reading it. It must be Xiaobao lying again. Who would be so stupid? Who would spend a lot of money to buy a lousy radish? No, who would be so unlucky to meet Zhang Xiaobao? With curiosity, Li Longji read the letter and laughed. He wanted to laugh but was holding back his laughter, so he said to Gao Lishi, "Go and find the Serenade Temple's assistant official Jiang Xian, ******** in the Serenade Temple." Jiang Xin was worried. 2 years ago, when he was doing research, he found a good type of radish. It was big and didn't taste too spicy. It was crispy and sweet and could be eaten steamed. It was a very good variety. He cultivated a lot of radishes and planted the seeds in the autumn. Most of them used simple greenhouses, and a small number of them used greenhouses made of glass sent by the Zhang family and Wang family. However, when the radishes appeared at the beginning of spring this year, it was over. The radishes of the second generation were obviously different from the first. In other words, the radishes couldn't be kept from generation to generation. They could only be cultivated from generation to generation, and people in distant places couldn't use them. What should I do? How should I explain this to people? The Zhang family and Wang family used such precious glass to support the Serenade Temple's research. Now all of them are useless. If the Zhang family and Wang family ask, how should I answer? Jiang Xin muttered to himself. The more he thought about it, the sadder he felt. There were still a lot of seeds left in his hands. Fortunately, he didn't plant them. Otherwise, he would have wasted a lot of good land. Standing beside Jiang Xin was the registrar of the Serenade Temple. He was also worried. Hearing Jiang Xin's muttering, he suggested, "Shaoqing, why don't we see if pigs eat the radishes? Even if pigs eat them, we can't give them seeds. The yield is not good. Peel them and leave some. Let's see if the third generation can change after the radishes bear seeds. If I had known this, I wouldn't have used the greenhouses. Let's find someone to peel them and see what else can be planted in this season." Looking at the 2 rows of greenhouses provided by the Zhang family and Wang family, Jiang Xin was about to cry. His efforts of several years were in vain. Assistant Official Serenade, His Majesty wants to see you. He said that he wants to discuss the new radishes. The eunuch who came to pass the message arrived at this time. He didn't hide anything and even told Jiang Xin the general situation so that Jiang Xin could prepare. Chapter 693. Jiang Xin followed behind the eunuch. She wanted to think about what to say later, but found that she couldn't think of any excuse. This was not only a matter of failure, but also a matter of taking up too much land and using up all the glass sheds before she was sure that it would be completely successful. The soil in the land was not the original soil. It was good soil that the Zhang family and Wang family specially found from other places. She didn't know what was in it. During normal planting, the yield was 20% higher than usual. Every year, they would find some organic matter to make good fertilizer. The Zhang family and Wang family did everything they should do. They didn't ask for a single copper coin and didn't ask for any benefits. They only hoped that the Dynasty temple could grow better things. If the research failed, they would support it. But this was a failure in decision-making, not experimental. Was it because they were angry and didn't want to give good things? Jiangxin came to Xingqing Palace uneasily. As soon as she entered the palace, she smelled the fragrance of fish. She sniffed and wondered why the emperor was in the mood to eat when it was not time to eat yet. As soon as Li Longji saw Jiangxin, he waved his hand. "Minister Jiang is here. Get a stool and let's eat together." Jiangxin didn't need to find a stool. The little eunuch next to him brought one and put it next to the small table that was specially prepared for Jiang Xian. There was a fish dish on the small table. Many images flashed through Jiangxin's mind. Did he want to poison her to death? Sigh. Let's eat, even if it's poison. After bowing to Li Longji, Jiangxin sat on the stool, picked up the chopsticks, looked at the emperor, and then looked at Gao Lisher, who was standing next to the emperor. She picked up a piece of fish and said, "This official is ashamed of the emperor's grace and the support of the Zhang family and Wang family. I'm willing to die." Then she put the fish into her mouth and tasted it carefully. She wanted to know what the poison tasted like. After tasting one piece, Jiangxin found that she didn't feel uncomfortable. Did she eat too little? Then she continued to eat. Thus, one piece of fish after another was eaten by Jiang Xian. At first, he was thinking of poisoning himself, but as he ate, he forgot about it and only cared about the delicious taste of the fish. He rubbed his stomach and exhaled comfortably. He said to Li Longji, "Many thanks for the fish, Your Majesty. Is this fish a new method that the imperial kitchen has figured out?" At this time, no matter how stupid he was, he knew that the emperor didn't intend to poison him to death. The fish was really delicious, but didn't he call him here to talk about the radishes? Why did he only eat fish? I don't know how long I'll have to wait for them to come up with new dishes. The recipe sent by Baoshan County uses radishes from the Dynasty temple as an auxiliary ingredient. Don't be fooled by the bitterness of the radishes. They get rid of the fishy smell and improve the freshness. After eating them, they leave a fragrant taste in the mouth. It's a pity that they're a little small. If they can grow bigger, the bitterness will be reduced. How about it? Li Longji sat on the chair and took a sip of tea as he spoke to Jiang Xian. Jiangxin thought for a moment and replied, "It's delicious. The Zhang family and the Wang family are really amazing. This subject has never seen anything that can baffle them. This subject is unworthy of His Majesty's grace and the support of the Zhang family and the Wang family. I'm willing to die." He repeated what he said just now. He knew clearly that he wouldn't die this time. Well, it's good that you know where the problem is. You are indeed unworthy of the Zhang family and the Wang family. The good things were given to the Dynasty temple, but you didn't think carefully before acting. This time, Xiaobao and Cuckoo help you again. In the future, you have to be careful. Li Longji had never eaten fish stewed with bitter radishes. He was afraid that it wouldn't be delicious, so he let Jiangxin try it first. Seeing Jiangxin eat it, he knew that it was not bad, so he decided to have someone make it at night. Gao Lisher also thought the same. Yes, Xiaobao and Cuckoo helped me again. They turned the bad radishes into delicious dishes. This subject is unable to repay them. Jiangxin really admired them. Such bitter radishes could be turned into delicacies in the hands of others. In this way, the Dynasty temple's responsibility was reduced a lot. The bitter radishes they planted were not completely useless. What's the point of cooking? Aren't we looking down on Xiaobao and Cuckoo? Lisher, let him read the letter. Take a good look at the ability of Xiaobao and Cuckoo. The Dynasty temple not only didn't lose money, but also made a lot of money. They have enough money to do research. Planting things well is the best reward. Li Longji was in a very good mood. As long as Xiaobao and Cuckoo could solve the problem, it meant that they had learned most of the skills. They didn't have to worry about the two masters of the Zhang family suddenly disappearing. Gao Lisher came down from above and handed the letter to Jiang Xian. His expression was as if he was the one who came up with the idea. "Thank you, Your Majesty." "Thank you, General Gao." General Gao is really a blessed person. Jiang Tsun very sensibly thanked the emperor and Gao Lisher. She also praised Gao Lisher, who asked him to have a good son. She really gained face. Gao Lisher was flattered, so he said happily, "Remember, this time, don't act on your own. The Serenade temple will do what is written in the letter. If you don't listen and do something wrong again, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo will be angry." General Gao is right. "I will do it well and do it." Jiang Tsun didn't dare to refute. She nodded and opened the letter to read from the beginning. Her eyes widened and her mouth opened wide. The more she read, the more surprised she was. The more she read, the more she cursed Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in her heart. This move was really insidious. When their own country was in trouble, they would shift the losses to others. No wonder the emperor was so happy. With such a person around, other countries would not be able to use other means other than war to gain benefits. However, war was not necessarily feasible. There was still a Cuckoo who treated killing as a game. How did the two of them meet together? How can other people live? Jiang Tsun thought in her heart and unconsciously said it in a low voice. What did Jiang Shaoqing say? Gao Lisher didn't hear clearly and asked. I said, "We must do according to what is written in the letter. A radish seed is 50 copper coins. A small green radish is 200 copper coins. Quickly send people to the Serenade temple and tell them not to dig. Don't dig first. It's all money, Jiang Tsun suddenly remembered something important. When he came, he ordered people to dig the radishes. He quickly shouted to the little eunuch in the hall. The little eunuch looked at the emperor and immediately ran out to stop him. Jiang Tsun let out a sigh of relief and wiped the sweat from eating the fish and seeing the plan. He said to Li Longji, "Your Majesty, I submit. This method is unfathomable. When the trap is set, there will really be people who want to dig in. This subject thinks that we should transfer Zhang Xiaobao to the Ministry of Revenue. I don't think anyone will dare to play tricks under his nose and fake the accounts." Hearing Jiang Tsun's words, Gao Lisher couldn't take it anymore. "Jiang Shaoqing, are you trying to make Xiaobao fall? Shouldn't Cuckoo be transferred to the Ministry of War? Each of them is a minister, a high-ranking official." "No, I'm just casually saying. I'm talking too much." Jiang Tsun sweated even more. She secretly complained that she didn't keep her mouth shut. Gao Lisher's words were cutting to the heart. Li Longji coughed lightly, indicating that Gao Lisher didn't need to say any more. He really wanted to transfer these two people to an important position in the capital, but he knew that it wasn't the right time yet. He had to wait. He ordered Jiang Tsun, "You must do according to the method in the letter. Take good care of all the seeds and radishes. If news of this leaks out, you know the consequences. Go. If you can't negotiate, push the matter to Savant's restaurant." Jiang Tsun nodded vigorously and handed the letter back to Gao Lisher. She walked out of the hall as light as a feather. Today's ups and downs were too big. She had to think carefully about where to spend the money she earned. It would be even better if she could learn how to turn the situation around. After Jiang Tsun left, Li Longji sat on the chair and pondered for a while. Then he said to Gao Lisher, "Let's make a fish dish tonight." The teams of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family were still on the road. At this speed, they would reach the county before evening. The masters of the two families made use of the time to rest so that they wouldn't be tired when they arrived. Luo Xianger entered Xiaobei's house. She went up from the first floor to the second floor, then to the third floor. Then she walked around the rooms, opened the windows, and opened the doors. No matter how much she walked around, it was not enough. She was very envious of Xiaobei and the others. They had a beautiful house with their own rooms. They could decorate their rooms however they liked. If they wanted to find others to play with, they just had to enter other people's rooms. There were also many toys. Especially since this house had wheels under it, they could walk around everywhere. Xiao Bei and the others also took out what they thought were the best things for Luo Xianger to play with. In such a big family, they had long developed the habit of being generous. There were also various snacks for Luo Xianger to try. When they were less than 5 li away from the county, the sound of horse hooves could be heard in front of them. Luo Xianger wanted to open the window to take a look, but she was stopped. A periscope rose from the roof of the 3rd floor, allowing her to see what was happening in front. Big brother, big sister. Xiao Bei was the first to see Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He cheered and began to run to the 1st floor, preparing to meet them outside. The other children also squeezed down, and some even fell. Fortunately, this was considered when the house was designed. Otherwise, it would have been very easy for them to get into trouble. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan each rode a horse and hurried over to meet them. There were buckets hanging from the horses. When they saw them approaching, the two pulled on the reins. The horses below them let out a long neigh, raised their front legs, and froze in place. When the front legs fell, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already landed on the ground, each carrying a bucket. The officials who came with Zhang Zhong could not help but praise the two people's horsemanship. People who had fought in wars were indeed different. Big brother, big sister. Xiao Bei spread his arms and shouted as he rushed over. The other children were not willing to be left behind. With a whoosh, they surrounded Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Xiao Bei threw himself into his brother's arms. As he cried, he said that when he dreamed at night, he could see his brother and sister. But when he woke up, there was nothing. Chapter 694. The arrival of the Zhang family and Wang family immediately livened up Baoxing County. Zhang Zhong led a group of officials and rested for the night. The next day, they began to tour the model of Jiangxi province. At this time, they did not casually introduce the production and cultural aspects like other people. Data was sorted out one by one. The construction of various aspects of Jiangxi province, as well as the tax revenue, were all listed in a table, allowing people to know the situation around the capital in the recent years. The overall growth and the data from the people allowed the officials to clearly understand the changes in the Great Tang's region. Learning naturally couldn't be done without any learning. Besides this, the more important thing was that the Great Tang's future was optimistic, and it showed that the emperor had ruled the country well. Before the officials from Luoyang arrived at Baoxing County, they thought that their reputation would be used to help advertise. In any case, there was nothing to do in Luoyang, so they had nothing to do. The Zhang family and Wang family had already agreed on the advertising fee. That was, the officials who came could not only understand the situation in Jiangxi province, but more importantly, they could personally try out the various products of Jiangxi province. This included a set of furniture made of good wood. This set of furniture could not be bought without 1,000 strings of coins. In addition to the furniture, there was also the newly brewed wine and tea leaves from Sanshui County in Jiangxi province. The officials from Luoyang had come for these things. It did not take much effort to walk around. When they arrived at Baoxing County, they would be able to eat and live very comfortably. Because it was Zhang Zhong's suggestion, most of the officials were very supportive. They came to take a look and add something to their homes. However, there were a small number of officials who looked down on Zhang Zhong and felt that Zhang Zhong's method was not desirable. They would rather not have the things than come. But after hearing all kinds of data in the morning, the officials who came felt very lucky. They had already talked to Zhang Zhong. After returning, they had asked Zhang Zhong to give them a copy of the information just now so that they could memorize it. This was to prevent the emperor from being able to answer correctly when he was in a good mood. This was an accurate proof that the Great Tang was gradually flourishing. Presumably, the emperor would pay close attention to it. When the time came, who would be able to find a chance to enter the capital, who would remain in Luoyang, or who would be sent to some other place? That would depend on whether or not the emperor was satisfied. While the officials were excited, they were also rejoicing in the misfortune of the officials who did not come. they would not be so kind as to go back and share the information with others. Besides, even if they wanted to share it, it would not be of much use. This was because all of Zhang Zhong's data was in general and involved every department. Of course, those who did not come would not prepare it for them. The adults watched and listened at the front, while Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan ran around with a group of little ones. Many snacks in Jiangyi province had been made. They were not sent by merchants through advertisements. The merchants had not participated yet. They were all made locally with a collected technology. They had not seen each other for a long time. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not limit how much snacks the little ones could eat today. This made the little ones very happy. They got up early in the morning and changed into comfortable clothes before going out with their brothers and sisters. After coming out of the yamen, their hands and mouths were not idle. Xiao Bei wanted to hold her brother and sister's hands, but she also wanted to eat. In the end, she cleverly let her brother and sister carry the food while she freed her hands. She grabbed the corner of someone's shirt and tried her best to say what she didn't finish last night. For example, when they were in Luoyang, her bamboo dragonfly flew higher than other people's. Xiao Yuan was timid when he played on the swing and was tied to it, and so on. This was a small matter for the adults, but it was very important for her. The other little ones also surrounded them and kept expressing their thoughts. Luo Xianger was also walking in the group. When she heard her brothers and sisters talking, she also remembered that her two brothers had brought her to play. However, her two brothers were still helping out at home and could not go to the county together. She felt a little regretful. "Brother, I folded a big paper airplane. When I was dreaming, I dreamed that the airplane would fly us in the sky. It flew from Luoyang to here, and we would arrive in a short while. Brother, is there really such an airplane?" Xiao Bei tried hard to swallow the food in her mouth and asked Zhang Xiaobao. Yes. When Xiao Bei grows up, we'll make an airplane. When the time comes, we can go wherever we want to go and fly over thousands of mountains and rivers, Zhang Xiaobao said with certainty. Wang Wan echoed from the side. Xiao Bei, don't be anxious. You have to work hard and learn useful knowledge. It will be easy for you to do anything in the future. Okay. Xiao Bei nodded vigorously, looking like she was really going to study hard. When they got close to the model, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan explained something else to their younger siblings. There was no data, and they did not care about the people's livelihood. They only described the legends of various places in a language that the little ones could understand. Some of the officials walking at the back also heard Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's explanation. When they looked at the large model, they suddenly realized that they were not just talking about some model, but the charm of the entire Great Tang. A model not only expressed the livelihood of the people, but also the economy, culture, and inheritance. While the Luoyang officials were studying in Baoxing County, the people from the Four Seas Academy impatiently sent people to the capital to inquire about how to obtain that kind of carrot. After sending people out, it would probably take some time before they could arrive. When Yamamoto and the others heard that the Luoyang officials had come, as well as the families of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, they also followed behind to join in the fun. They did not disturb them and only followed from a position where they could see and hear. They wanted to understand more about the situation of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan families. Yamamoto was the first to see Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan leading a group of children. He did not think much of it. After all, the children were too young. However, after following them for a while and hearing what the children said and how they reacted when they encountered something, he finally noticed something different. Usually, children of this age would not be able to do the actions of this group of little fellows. Whenever it was time to buy something, the little fellows here would be very quiet. They would stand in line and wait for the people in front to choose what they wanted. Only then would the people behind follow. They also knew how to ask if they could not eat too much of a certain food and which part of the body would feel uncomfortable if they ate too much. For example, when they were selling cold drinks, the children would ask if their stomachs would hurt after eating 2 bowls. After receiving an affirmative answer, they would only ask for 1 bowl. Occasionally, 1 or 2 classic sentences could be heard from the children's mouths, either from the book of songs or from the selected literature. The more Yamamoto watched and listened, the more surprised he became. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were already very good. These children were still so young, but they behaved differently from ordinary children. When they grew up, what would the Zhang family and the Wang family be like? If only one child learned well, it would be reasonable. However, all the children were better than the other. It was definitely not because they were born well, but because they were taught well. Especially, it could be seen that the children who did not belong to the Zhang family and the Wang family were still performing well. This could only mean one thing. The Zhang family and the Wang family had their own special way of teaching children. Thinking of this, Yamamoto said to the person next to him, "Shanji, if we can learn the way Zhang family and the Wang family teach their children, how do you think it will help our country?" Shanji was also watching and listening from the side. The children's performance also gave him a great impact, or rather a blow. They were smart, sensible, and polite. They were not like other children who could not wait to make a fuss and shout. Just now he had also thought of this. At this time, when he heard Yamamoto's question, he replied, "Then our country will become stronger in less than 30 years. But can we learn the teaching methods of the Zhang family and the Wang family?" When it came to learning, he was very uncomfortable. Originally, when people from his country came to the Tang Empire, they could learn whatever they wanted from others. Now, because of the Zhang family and the Wang family, many good skills and knowledge were not taught. If they wanted to learn, they had to think of ways behind the scenes. Most of the knowledge taught in the Four Seas Academy was about scriptures or etiquette. If they wanted to learn some ways to rule the country or military, no one would teach them at all. It was the same for economics. The only way to learn was through the Monopoly game. They started from the lowest level and played to a certain extent. After they left the scope of the game, they would be able to come into contact with more things. Among the people from his country, there were already 4 people who entered the top 100 through hard work. However, no matter how good they were, they would not be able to enter the top 10. No matter how good they were, as long as they mentioned the exam, they would be directly rejected. It was said that the knowledge that the top 10 came into contact with was completely different from the knowledge of the bottom 90. They were even responsible for mastering the rules. It's difficult. Yamamoto also felt the same. Then why don't we capture them all and use them to threaten the Zhang family and the Wang family? Let them give us their good skills in exchange for the safety of the children. Shanji suddenly had a bold idea. He looked around and felt that if he made a move, there might be a chance. Even if most of the people were to be left behind, as long as a small number of people could rush out and control the children of the Zhang family and the Wang family, it would be worth it even if there were casualties. Yamamoto quickly covered Shanji's mouth and said softly, "Do you want to die? Do you really think that the people who come are from our country, the Four Seas Academy, and the Tang Empire? They will deal with you first." Yamamoto knew very well that the people of the Four Seas Academy from the Tang Empire were willing to cooperate with them not because they wanted to commit treason, but because they wanted to make more money. Once it involved something that would affect the Tang Empire, they would not be with them anymore. Making money and destroying the Tang Empire were 2 different things. As long as they showed the idea of capturing the children, the first to deal with them would probably be the people of the Tang Empire in the team. The Zhang family and the Wang family had already become an unshakable existence in their hearts. Shanji was just casually saying it and did not think much about it just now. Now he was shocked and nodded, indicating for Yamamoto to let go of his hand. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan turn their heads and smile at him at the same time. His legs immediately went soft. They heard it? Did they guess it? Are they just looking for an excuse to deal with us? The moment he saw Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan smile, Shanji had such a thought in his heart. He looked around carefully and finally found something wrong. Surprisingly, there were sellers carrying baskets or pushing carts beside the little guys. They were peddling their wares while looking around. At first glance, they looked normal, But if one were to look closely at the seller's eyes, they would definitely not have the eyes of someone who was waiting for others to buy something. No wonder Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan dared to take a group of children for a stroll. They did not lack protection. Water birds flew, waves splashed, the clouds in the sky floated leisurely, and the wind blew gently. Luzhou and Lingnan Circuit looked peaceful now. Zhang Pingwang was very happy today. Once again, he brought the people around him out to have a look. Initially, he thought it was time for him to leave after the spring plowing. He did not expect that, because he wanted the model of Lingnan Circuit. In order not to cause too much trouble in Luzhou, he would not send a new official to take over. This was to prevent the new official from being difficult to control. Therefore, he was allowed to continue being the provincial governor of Luzhou. This way, he could enjoy the scenery of Luzhou more. He could even take a boat to the coastal area. As long as he did not go too far, it would be fine. The weather is good today. I should go to the docks and have a look. With that thought in mind, Zhang Pingwang brought his followers out. Similarly, he did not use his own carriage. Instead, he casually stopped a carriage on the street and ordered the coachman, "Go to the docks." The coachman nodded with a smile. He opened the door and sat back in his seat. He hummed a tune and swung the whip in the air as he urged the horse forward. During the journey, he did not forget to talk to Zhang Pingwang. "Lord Provincial Governor, is there any news about Provincial Governor Zhang recently? I heard that they're going to build a model of this place and put it in the capital. Do you need any help?" The last thing Zhang Pingwang wanted to hear was other people asking about Provincial Governor Zhang. He knew the coachman was not asking about him. Even if he was also a provincial governor and had the surname Zhang, there was a big difference. When he heard the coachman's question, he could not just ignore it. After thinking for a moment, he said, "There is indeed such a thing. Isn't the Chamber of Commerce already working on this matter? I reckon that by summer, they'll have collected most of the data. After all, compared to the capital, there aren't many famous places here." "Oh, thank you, Lord Zhang. It seems like the rumors are true. After I send you to the place, I'll think of a way to see if I can get the people from the Chamber of Commerce to send the data of Luzhou to the capital first, so that Provincial Governor Zhang can have a good look at this place. Lord Zhang, is there any news about the little young master and the little lady? After all, our status is not high enough. It's difficult for us to find out more about them. Why don't you tell me, Lord Zhang? I have a chicken that lays eggs at home. I'm going to kill it and send it to you when the time comes so that you can stew it with mushrooms." The coachman seemed very happy when he got the exact information from Zhang Pingwang. He continued to discuss with Zhang Pingwang. Zhang Pingwang had learned not to be jealous. The coachman wanted to send him a chicken to eat. It sounded good, but it was definitely not for his own good. It was just in exchange for a piece of information. The coachman had left his post for a long time, but he still had control over the entire Luzhou. "Sai, if I can't compare, then let's not compare. There is nothing in this world that can be compared." Therefore, Zhang Pingwang recalled all the news he had recently received and said to the coachman, "Yes, the two of them are both minor officials in Baoxing County. However, they have the final say in the entire county. I heard that they have recently received a lot of silver ores. The lives of the people in Baoxing County have become much better. I think it's time for them to move to another place after they're almost done with the matter of the model. It's good to change places. It would be best if he could be promoted to a high-ranking official. The two little fellows might be able to endure it. The people of Baoxing County are blessed. As long as the Zhang and Wang family are there, the people will be able to live a good life. No, I have to think of a way. When the time comes, I will personally send something to them." The coachman was not surprised at all that the people in the county where Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan lived could live a good life. This time, he did not ask any more. Instead, he hummed the tune even more happily and swayed his head in enjoyment. Suddenly, Zhang Pingwang asked, "What do you think I should do to make you treat me the same way you treat Zhang Zhong?" "Huh?" The coachman's voice came to a halt as he exclaimed in surprise. Then he said with a smile, Lord Zhang, Provincial Governor Zhang suffered the disaster together with us. How can we compare this? As long as you follow the method Provincial Governor Zhang left behind, we'll naturally treat you very well." His words were tactful, but the meaning could not be clearer. Don't count on me. Just follow my lead, and you'll be rewarded when the time comes. Zhang Pingwang understood. It seemed that if he wanted to be like Zhang Zhong, he would have to find a very poor place to be an official. Then he would have to raise the living standards of the people bit by bit. There were many poor places. Although it was said that the world was flourishing, in fact, the poor places were still poor. Otherwise, there would not be so many places where people were sent to. It was easy to find a place, for example, a place further west. However, it would be difficult to make the people live a good life, as Lu Zhou did. He did not know how to do it. Perhaps, if he was given 10 years, he might be able to change a province. However, if he wanted to learn from Zhang Zhong and develop Lu Zhou in a short time, apart from the fact that he did not have enough money, more importantly, he could not think of all kinds of strange methods. Forget it. I'll think about it after this period of time. If I really can't do it, I'll ask Zhang Zhong personally when I have a chance in the future. How can I develop a place according to its conditions? That was what Zhang Xiaobao and Cuckoo were doing now. After making up his mind, Zhang Pingwang leaned against the back seat and closed his eyes to rest, allowing the carriage to move forward slightly. The car traveled for a long time, but this time they didn't take a detour. When evening came, they arrived at the pier. There were still people coming and going at the pier, and there were boats docking and leaving from time to time. Zhang Pingwang brought his followers to the dock again. He looked into the distance, admiring the sunset. At the same time, he listened to the sound of seabirds. Chapter 695. The tour in Buxin County continued. After the officials from Luoyang asked Zhang Zhong for detailed information, Zhang Zhong did not agree. This was because this information did not belong to Luoyang, but was related to Jiangxi province. Why would a place like Luoyang need information from the entire Jiangxi province? Upon hearing Zhang Zhong's words, the officials could only dismiss the idea of continuing to ask. They were prepared to listen to it a few times and memorize what they knew. They could not care less about the others for the time being. The Four Seas Academy's ship of silver finally arrived. It was unknown where they had hired so many vehicles, but the road was left with one mark after another. However, at this time, there was no such thing as a toll fee, so the local citizens could only silently endure. Of course, the citizens did not think much of it. They had never come into contact with other things, so it was a habit for them to have bad roads. With so many ores piled up into a mountain, they were exchanged for the same weight of cement, the kind that came in bulk. The vehicles did not leave, so they were responsible for pulling them back. However, there was an extra cloth on the vehicles to cover the cement, so as to prevent the wind from blowing it everywhere. The people from the Four Seas Academy did not know that cement could not be in contact with the air often. Otherwise, it would absorb the moisture in the air and condense. They were very happy, especially the Japanese. They felt that by transporting the cement back, they could figure out something useful. Xiao Bei also wanted to take a look at the ores. It would be even better if they could climb the ore mountain. However, they were stopped by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. They were not allowed to approach and immediately sent people to transport the ores away, worried that there would be radiation in the ores that was not good for the human body. Xiao Bei, who could not climb the mountain, did not make a fuss. He began to fold paper planes for his brother and sister. The planes that he folded kept spinning around his body, indicating that the balance was not good. Xiaobao, what do you think is needed to make a plane? Seeing Xiao Bei's persistence, Wang Wan wanted to make a plane. That depends on what it's used for. If it can really fly very far, carry goods, and carry people, it's probably better to dream together with Xiao Bei. That requires the technological advancement of the entire society at the same time to be completed. If it's like the glider plane that was first made, it can still be realized after a lot of experiments. But if it involves the engine, then it's not easy to do. There's the problem of fuel and sealing. Zhang Xiaobao did not plan to fly from the ground to the sky at once. A hot air balloon was already a pretty good thing now. If he really wanted to make a plane, it would involve too much knowledge in all aspects. Wang Wan also carefully recalled the knowledge she had learned before and said, "In fact, it is very simple to make a glider specifically for carrying people. It is said that in another 100 years, someone will be able to make it in other places. But to be able to glide like an airplane, you have to work hard in all aspects. The Industrial Revolution is really a great revolution." Yes, after the Industrial Revolution, the development of human civilization accelerated in a short period of time. After thousands of years of development, only after the Industrial Revolution did the development of human civilization reach a flying speed in the first 100 years of the Industrial Revolution. You have learned a lot. Why don't the two of us focus on imitating the Industrial Revolution and avoid detours, develop science and technology, find various good craftsmen, and provide them with the ideas of the Industrial Revolution? I believe that they will definitely be able to develop faster than the original Industrial Revolution. Zhang Xiaobao did not know much himself. He could only hope that Wang Wan could provide more theoretical support. As long as they avoided detours and imitated the things that had appeared in the Industrial Revolution, the speed of development would definitely be much faster than the Industrial Revolution. It was like a quadratic equation. It was not easy to solve, but later on, any junior high school student could easily solve it. Even some elementary school students could do it, as long as they had some experience with it. This was the greatness of inheritance. Wang Wan had actually thought of this a long time ago, but sometimes the most important thing was not the theory, but the people's attitude towards new things. If their thinking could not change, the craftsmen might not be willing to learn. Right now, all the craftsmen could not be fully immersed in research because they could not realize the greatness of what they could do. Thinking of this, Wang Wan felt very sad. She said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobei and the others are very happy compared to the children of today, but compared to the children of our time, there is no happiness to speak of at all. This is because they know too little, and we know clearly, but we can't prove it to them. Yes, the earth is round, and there are many planets high in the sky. They don't understand what the universe is. In fact, we don't understand either. Perhaps to the people of the more distant future at that time, we are like the people of today in their eyes, and we are considered to be happy. Then do you think Xiao Bei and the others are the same? In the vast universe, the more we study it, the more we feel insignificant. Whether it is microscopic or macroscopic, let's start with our own home. If others can do the steam engine, we can do it too. It's not something too complicated. At most, the craftsmanship can't keep up with the production at the beginning, so we can't mass produce it. Gather the best craftsmen in the country and let them study it and provide them with ideas. I don't believe that if others have hands and feet, can we be worse than them? Zhang Xiaobao finally made up his mind to make a big change this time. Of course, the premise was that they had to get rubber. This was very important. During the Industrial Revolution, rubber played an unimaginable role, and many things needed it. Wang Wan also gritted her teeth and said, "Okay, you take care of the political matters. I will be in charge of organizing what I have learned in the past, and then teach the craftsmen who are active enough. As for the inactive craftsmen, no matter how good their skills are, they can't be allowed to lead something. They can only be used as support." While the two of them were talking, Xiao Bei was still seriously folding her own plane, fantasizing that one day she would be able to fly freely in the sky like her brother and sister had said. She didn't understand what her brother and sister were saying at all. Similarly, she didn't know that her brother and sister were only using someone else's model because of her persistence. They didn't want her and the other children to continue living like this. They wanted to let them know more and understand more. Even if they were still insignificant after understanding more, they would be much better than the people now. Loneliness always came from the heart. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had the same idea and worked hard for the same goal, Wang Maozhong still thought that he was no worse than the Zhang family and Wang family in terms of horse breeding skills. He also learned from the Zhang family and Wang family and formed a research team. Today, he came to take a look. 1,000 horses had been sent away. As Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had guessed, he didn't choose 1,000 good stallions at all. Instead, he sent the worst horses to Fengzhou. You all have to think carefully about how to raise horses better. In this world, except for the birds flying in the sky, only horses are the fastest. They can avoid wild beasts and can also carry people to other places in a very short time. Zhang family and Wang family have good skills in other aspects, but they are definitely not as fast as us. What we need to do is to give the people of Tang faster speed. Thinking about it makes me feel lonely. No one can understand my loneliness. I don't think I can find anyone else who has mastered this aspect of technology. Wang Maozhong suddenly felt like he had never seen anyone before and never seen anyone after. Thinking about the loneliness of the world, he felt lonely and thought that the technology he had mastered was the best. However, he didn't know that the opponent in his heart had never taken him seriously. Now, he was ready to carry out a more systematic plan for Xiao Bei and other children. Sir, you are indeed lonely. No one knows what you are thinking. For example, if you want every mare to give birth to 2 cubs at the same time, since other horses have done this before, then it must be possible. No one dares to even think about it. The person beside him immediately followed up with flattery. Because of the relationship between Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, many people now tried to add as many words as possible to show that they were not bad and that they could understand everything. Wang Maozhong was indeed happy to hear people talking about him. He said to the people next to him, "I am going to write a plan and send it to the palace for His Majesty and the other officials to see. I want everyone to know that I am not bad in terms of technology, especially when the horses can be fitted with light wings. Perhaps when the horses reach a certain speed, they can fly. Sir, you are indeed amazing. I will wait for your plan to succeed and then congratulate you." The people next to him were still flattering him. Wang Maozhong said that he was going to write a plan and really went to work. One day later, the plan was written and sent to the capital by pigeons. Not long after his pigeon flew, 2 pigeons also flew to the sky from Baoxing County. They carried Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's ideals and flew to the capital. Li Longji was in a good mood today. The news reported from all over the country said that the spring plowing was very smooth. He estimated that this year would be another year of harvest. At the same time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Maozhong helped the places that were hit by the snow in the name of the imperial court. They also sent the gratitude of the local people. While he was in a good mood, Wang Maozhong's pigeon arrived first. As usual, Gao Lisher personally went to take it. It was sealed with wax. Gao Lisher did not care so much and directly opened it. He had the authority to see whether the matter was big or small. If it was a small matter, he would take care of it himself. If it was a big matter, he would look for Li Longji. When he saw the contents of Wang Maozhong's letter, Gao Lisher frowned. There were 3 things in the letter. The first was to find a way to let every mare give birth to 2 cubs at a time. The second was to find a way to ask the craftsman to make a pair of wings for the horses. This way, it would be easier for the horses to run. The third thing was to collect the feathers of domestic animals from all over the country and make a pair of wings for the people. When riding on a horse, it might be able to run faster. Gao Lisher frowned not because he knew that this matter could not be done, but because he was worried that if it was done, it would affect Xiao Bao and Wang Wan's status. If Wang Maozhong really succeeded, then Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's technological advantage would be reduced. After hesitating for a while, Gao Lisher still sent the letter to Li Longji. If it was another official, he might have suppressed them and questioned them to see if they were confident that they would succeed. However, this method would not work on Wang Maozhong. They were all close officials, so he could not stop him. At this time, Li Longji was listening to a song. Ever since he built the pear garden, the development of folk art had also sped up. At the same time, because of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's hard work, folk art had been enriched by a lot. The two of them had taken out songs that would only appear many years later to try. Therefore, the current pear garden was much more impressive than the normal pear garden. The artistic forms in it were also more comprehensive. The song Li Longji was currently listening to was one of them, Huang Mei Opera. The most classic pair of immortals was singing along as they listened to the song. The birds on the tree become a pair, green-watered green mountain with smiling faces. You and I are like. Li Longji was humming along with the song. When he saw Gao Lishir coming over, he nodded to Gao Lishir and told him to wait for a while. When Gao Lishir saw the song Li Longji was listening to, he became happy again. This song was from Huayuan County. Naturally, it was the place where Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were in charge. They were always able to come up with new things that made people feel good. After singing along for a while, Li Longji finally calmed down and gestured to Gao Lishir to talk about something. Your Majesty, Wang Maozhong wrote a letter. It was delivered by pigeon. Your subject has checked it and found that no one has touched it. Gao Lishir opened the letter and handed it to Li Longji. What did he say? Li Longji didn't take the letter. Instead, he asked Gao Lishir. Gao Lishir nodded. Your Majesty, he said. He said 3 things. He also made a plan for the last thing. It's called the emergency plan. In other words, Gao Lishir explained the contents of the letter to Li Longji bit by bit. He didn't include any of his own opinions. He just followed how it should be. Li Longji listened patiently. He pondered as he listened. When Gao Lishir finished, he asked, Lishir, do you think it's feasible? If it's feasible, send some good craftsmen to him. Also, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan have a lot of poultry feathers. Just send them directly from Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. This can save a lot of trouble. I don't know. I think it's better to listen to what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan have to say about this. Gao Lishir wasn't sure if Wang Maozhong's plan would succeed, but he didn't want it to succeed. It would be best if he could stop this plan before it was even tried. Since Wang Maozhong's people went to cause trouble last time, the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan must have a lot of opinions about Wang Maozhong and wouldn't support him. In fact, he didn't know much about the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. To be precise, he didn't know much about Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. If Wang Maozhong's plan was feasible, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wouldn't stop it. They might even support it. For the two of them, private matters were not worth mentioning. If they wanted to deal with someone, they could do it at any time. When an ant offended a person, it depended on the person's mood. If the person was in a good mood, he would let it go. If the person was in a bad mood, he could kill it with a finger. In Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's hearts, Wang Maozhong was that ant. If the ant suddenly said that he could do something good one day, they would let it go. Li Longji also knew that Gao Lishir didn't like Wang Maozhong. If he really let the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan consider this matter, the result would probably be no. Thinking of this, Li Longji hesitated. Should he let the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan participate? He looked at Gao Lishir and thought for a while. Finally, he nodded and said, Okay, we will do as Lishir said. Tell the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan about the letter. Li Longji already had a plan in mind. It was a good opportunity to test the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Whether they agreed or not, Wang Maozhong's plan had to go ahead. If it didn't succeed and the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan opposed, it would mean that the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did the right thing. If it succeeded and the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan still opposed, it would be a different matter. Of course, if the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan directly agreed, it would mean that Wang Maozhong's plan was feasible. Also, the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wouldn't bring their own opinions into this matter. Not bad. Go ahead. Just listen to the rapid plan, Li Longji said at last. Gao Lishir didn't want to hear Li Longji praise Wang Maozhong, but he still left and prepared to write a letter. Before he could write, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's pigeons flew over. They also brought a letter. The letter also contained a plan, but it wasn't detailed enough. It only gave a general idea. When Gao Lishir saw the letter, he didn't continue writing. He hurried over to Li Longji with the letter. Li Longji didn't expect Gao Lishir to come back so quickly. He asked, Is it done? Your Majesty, it's not done yet. There's news from Baoxing County. Please take a look, Gao Lishir said as he passed the letter over. Li Longji didn't read it either. What's it about? Your Majesty, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo also wrote a plan called Operation Soaring. It's part of the Soaring Plan. They need to recruit the best craftsmen in the country to be selected. Gao Lishir couldn't help but raise his voice when he said this. Oh, what's soaring? What's soaring? Li Longji was puzzled. Just a moment ago, Wang Maozhong had sent over a letter describing an urgent plan. Immediately after that, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo sent over a plan. It sounded even more impressive than Wang Maozhong's. Replying to Your Majesty, soaring refers to soaring in Great Tang. Soaring is more specific. It's said that it's more powerful than a hot air balloon. It allows people to fly freely in the sky. It's very fast and can even adjust their direction. It's all written in the letter. Gao Lishir wasn't worried that Wang Maozhong's plan could be realized. Even if it was, the best craftsman wouldn't be given to him. After all, he didn't have a successful precedent. Furthermore, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family had never done badly. This time, Li Longji opened the letter and began to read it. He started from the beginning, then moved from top to bottom, right to left. When he was halfway through, he stood up from his chair with a look of disbelief on his face. His hands were trembling. Can a person really fly into the sky? That's much better than riding on a horse. Li Longji seemed to be asking Gao Lishir, but also speaking to himself. Your Majesty, it's not that this subject is biased toward Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, but that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family's projects have all been successful. There's also the hot air balloon that they sent over a while ago. That thing can fly into the sky. Even if it gives a person a pair of wings, it won't be a big deal. Right now, Gao Lishir wanted to fly to Baoxing County and give his son a good kiss. The letter had come at just the right time. Wang Maozhong's plan had come at just the right time. Compared to Wang Maozhong's uncertain plan that could only speed things up a little, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo's plan was truly formidable. Li Longji truly didn't care about the flight this time. What he cared about was the soaring plan. The letter said that in 5 years, the Great Tang's national strength would double. This was the truly shocking part. If anyone else had said this, Li Longji would have slapped them across the face. Why didn't they take a look at the current state of the Great Tang? Doubling its national strength in 5 years? Dream on. But this plan was proposed by Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, and the first step, the soaring plan, required an order from the imperial court to mobilize the best craftsmen in the country. There was another aspect that required an order from the imperial court, and that was that the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family were preparing to form a large fleet for a long-distance journey. He hoped that the imperial court could provide official support so that the fleet could represent the entire Great Tang. He hoped that the imperial court could give them more freedom in their actions. He even hoped that the imperial court could pardon some of the officials who might pass by. After all, it was too far away. If he didn't do this, it would be too late to send the letter. Li Longji pondered for a moment and said to Gao Lishir, "It's easy to recruit craftsmen. In a month's time, there will be many outstanding craftsmen competing in the capital. After they are done, they will be sent to Baoxing County for Xiao Bao and Cuckoo to choose from." Yes, Your Majesty. If we don't provide the craftsmen that Wang Maozhong needs and fail, will it be because the craftsmen are not good enough? Gao Lishir was very happy, but he still brought up the matter of Wang Maozhong. Transfer the craftsmen from the Ministry of Works to Wang Maozhong. This way, he won't say anything. Is the craftsman from the Ministry of Works not good enough? Li Longji had his own plans for this matter. Gao Lishir continued, "What if Wang Maozhong insists that the craftsmen from the Ministry of Works are not good enough and wants the craftsmen from the inner court of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family? What else does he want? Does he need me to help him personally?" The craftsmen from the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family didn't appear out of thin air. Didn't they nurture them bit by bit? Since the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family can nurture them, why can't Wang Maozhong do the same? Does he want to wait for the craftsmen that are already available? Li Longji couldn't possibly care less about this matter. Ever since the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family started nurturing craftsmen, the current trend in Great Tang was to nurture the craftsmen themselves instead of snatching from others. After all, what was given to others was given to others. Chapter 696. Faced with such a question, Gao Lisher didn't know how to answer. If he said that he didn't agree, what should he do? If he said that he agreed, wouldn't that be too much? Seeing that the emperor was waiting for a reply, he could only say, "It depends on the matter." If it's a place that has no contact with Great Tang, it's fine to let the Zhang family and Wang family use the name of the imperial court. However, if it's a place that has relations with Great Tang, it's definitely not allowed. And that's right. I've decided to let them use the name of the imperial court to do things outside. I can even give them blank imperial edicts for them to fill in the rewards. After hearing Gao Lisher's words, Li Longji made a decision. Your Majesty, isn't it inappropriate to give empty imperial edicts? If the Zhang family and Wang family use the name of the imperial court to do bad things or do things that are only beneficial to them, wouldn't that be? Gao Lisher advised. Wouldn't that be what? If it's a place that has no contact with Great Tang, what can it do to Great Tang? The Zhang family and Wang family's intentions were clear. Even if they sent people out, they would be doing things for the imperial court. Otherwise, if they didn't use the imperial court's name, who would know? Who can stop them? Having a name is always better than not having one. This is what it means to be loyal to the emperor and patriotic. Furthermore, the Zhang family and Wang family didn't say that they would go personally. They are still in their respective places, so how can they fake the imperial edicts? Even if what they spread is true, I can't do anything about the rewards and official positions that they give. Those who know Great Tang will naturally obey when they see the fleet that represents the imperial court. What's the use of the name if they don't know Great Tang? Isn't it still the fleet that shows off its prestige? It's better to use the name of Great Tang than to use the names of the Zhang family and Wang family. Li Longji had already thought it through. There were many places outside that didn't know about Great Tang, especially the various islands. They didn't care where Great Tang was. If they went over to trade, they might attack. The Zhang family and Wang family could use their names to defeat the enemy and casually give them an identity. If that was really the case, they might as well use the name of Great Tang. Gao Lisher thought about it and felt that it made sense, so he replied, "In that case, how many sealed edicts does your Majesty want to send?" That'll depend on their ability. If they really manage to control a place, they'll need at least 20 rewards, as well as the various officials. Send 200 over first, but make it clear that they're not allowed to use them in the Great Tang. If they're discovered, have Xiaobao and Cuckoo called over and flog them. Li Longji was really considerate of others, and his threat was also very light. He really didn't think that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan would use Kong's imperial edict to cause trouble. If they really wanted to cause trouble, they would have done it long ago. I'll arrange it right away. Gao Lisher went to do it happily. On the other hand, Li Longji was no longer in the mood to continue listening to the play. He muttered, "Take up more space. When the time comes, it will all belong to Great Tang. If there's anything good, bring it back." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't know that Wang Maozhong had been agitated and actually came up with a hasty plan. If they knew, they would definitely curse. With wings, they would provide an upward force, but this was done by relying on resistance. The speed could only be slower, not faster. The two of them were still bringing their younger brother and sister around, looking at the scenery of the fields and introducing them to the construction site. Their days were pretty good. 5 days after Zhang Zhong's arrival, they were almost done with the viewing and were preparing to bring back the officials from Luoyang this time. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's families couldn't bear to part with them. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's mother had been preparing good food for the two of them for the past few days. Even though they knew that they couldn't continue staying, they still hoped to see their children more. Xiao Bei and the rest didn't follow them back this time. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan felt that they had wasted a lot of time educating their children, so they wanted to stay in the county to continue teaching them personally. When the two families and the officials left, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan sent the group out of the county. As they rode on their horses, they watched the group disappear from sight bit by bit. At the same time, they sighed. Wang Wan looked in the direction where the group had left and said to Zhang Xiaobao, "We'll have to part eventually. In life, the time of parting is different, but perhaps the feelings of parting are the same. It's fine once you get used to it. It's not like we'll never meet again. Many times, it's a life and death parting. Even if you're reluctant to part, time will pass. When the construction here is done next year, we can be together again. Besides, it's fine to leave. Many people have jobs, but they might not be able to return home even once a year. Isn't life still the same?" Zhang Xiaobao actually didn't want to leave. He was the one who cherished his family the most, but sometimes he had no choice but to do it. Wang Wan nodded and said, "That's right. It's not a life and death parting. We can see each other whenever we want. Many soldiers who went to war never came back. That kind of pain really tugged at one's heartstrings. Many people who followed me in Tubo also died. It's enough to stay strong and live on. Cherish the time we can be together." This is what a real person is. Let's go back. Xiao Bei and the rest should have fallen behind in their education. We have to catch them. Zhang Xiaobao sighed and didn't want to continue speaking. He called out and left first. Wang Wan followed behind. As they walked, she said, "What do you think we should do with the many orphans? Even now, I can't really understand the thoughts of orphans. I just feel that they are pitiful. They don't need to be pitied, but they know how to be grateful. They will remember the people who helped them, and they will not forget the people who harmed them." Of course, human nature is very complicated. A portion of orphans will forget their past after they grow up and become capable. Or it could be said that they don't want to deliberately think about it and escape. They only have themselves in their hearts and lost their original companions, who asked this world to have no right or wrong, only the strong and the weak. Orphans are actually more willing to become strong. A portion of them want to live a peaceful life, a portion of them succeed, and a portion of them want to take revenge on this society. This is also the reason why humans are strong. Zhang Xiaobao didn't want to mention orphans. He had a home, now a warm home. He also had a mentality of escape. Wang Wan rushed to Zhang Xiaobao's side and said, "I don't care about whether human nature is good or bad. I just want to achieve my own goal. I have decided that in the future, a portion of the money earned by the clothing industry will be used to help others. If there is one Zhang Xiaobao among 10,000 orphans, my money will not be wasted. Then the world will be in chaos. Do you know how many orphans there are? With so many of me, I don't think anyone will have it easy." Zhang Xiaobao knew that Wang Wan was praising him. He smiled and waved the whip. The horses' speed increased. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned, Xiao Bei and the others had already started to learn. They had their own learning tasks every day. Of course, even if they didn't want to learn, no one forced them. However, when they listened to the stories, they couldn't keep up because the stories told them what they were supposed to learn every day. For example, in the story of Ali Baba, the incantation to open the door was not "Open Sesame," but the content of the 1,000-word poem. If you didn't know, you could only be anxious, but there was nothing you could do. As long as you didn't say the incantation, the plot of the story wouldn't continue. Luo Xiang'er didn't go home this time. She stayed in the county and learned with them. She wanted to learn some skills before going back. There were 2 people at home to take care of each other. If anything happened, someone would come to report. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan quietly came to the courtyard where the younger brother and sister were learning. They first listened to what they were reading. Then they could make up a story according to the content. Xiao Yuan's memory is the best. He has almost reached the level of a retentive memory. The previous stories are not suitable for him to tell. We have to design a special one for him. Zhang Xiaobao listened for a while and found that Wang Wan's younger brother, Xiao Yuan, was reciting area, which was a dictionary. This was what he and Wang Wan had learned in the past. He was much better than the others in this aspect. Then what story are you going to tell Xiao Yuan? Wang Wan also found that her younger brother was very good. This was a talent that was discovered in advance. It couldn't be wasted. Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while and said, "Tell him some stories with philosophical ideas or stories with mathematical problems. For example, the tortoise and the hare can be expressed in numerical terms. How fast is the tortoise swimming in the water? How fast is the current? How far is the rabbit on land? What's the frequency of each breath?" Look at Xiao Yuan's calculation ability. If he is still so good in this aspect, we can only let him write a thesis. It's probably impossible. His memory method is not suitable for abstract logic. Xiaobao, you're right. We should give them mathematics lessons. How should real mathematics lessons be done? We can't ask what 1 + 1 equals, right? Wang Wan was also very attentive to the education of her younger siblings. She hoped to teach all her skills to her younger siblings, but she was afraid that they would become another her. That kind of education method is boring. The two of us don't have many people to teach. Let's change the method. Give them money and let them buy what they like. We'll do this in the early stages. First, we'll learn addition and subtraction. When the time comes, we'll let them buy things one by one and learn multiplication and division. Zhang Xiaobao decided to use practical actions to let his younger siblings understand calculation. Wang Wan shook her head. Real mathematics is actually addition. All the rules are based on this. But real education is not the education of addition. Life's failure and success are not as simple as adding positive and negative numbers. Teaching them knowledge is also teaching them survival skills. Zhang Xiaobao did not want to nurture younger siblings who were very good at education. Then you'll design the curriculum. Ask me if you don't know. I'll discuss with Pomegranate and the others about their marriage. We'll be doing it together next year. We have to prepare now. Don't let them feel that they're not being valued. Wang Wan handed the matter to Zhang Xiaobao. She believed that Zhang Xiaobao could do it well. Go, I'll make up a story. Let's see which one is better. I'll teach them finance. I'll teach them the orthodox ones first, then I'll teach them calculation. Zhang Xiaobao did not want to disturb his younger siblings. He turned around and returned to his room to make up a story. 2 days later, the letter from Lu Zhou to the capital arrived in Bao Xian County. Sure enough, it's the Japanese. They've messed up Luzon Island and want to benefit from it. After reading the letter, Zhang Xiaobao was convinced of his original guess. Only the Japanese had such ideas and abilities. It was not that he looked down on the people of other places. The people of the Great Tang did not dare to do so. The people of other places had ideas, but did not know what to do. The Japanese were different. They were not lacking in anything. They were also very smart. They worked hard to learn the good things of others, and then turned them into their own. It had always been like this. Yes, it's really the Japanese. We met by chance, but the result was different. I'm not looking down on the Japanese. Compared to Silla, the Japanese are much better. At the very least, the Japanese at that time still admitted that they inherited a lot of Chinese writing and culture. At that time, Silla insisted that they were the ones who created it, and that what others had was also theirs. Only by facing yourself can you develop. What are you going to do? Send troops to fight. Now, there's no need to really send troops. Even if you scare them, they will immediately come over and admit their mistakes. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao had the same attitude when it came to their evaluation of the surrounding countries. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. Economic matters have to be solved through economic means. Unless there's really no other way, then it can be solved through administration and military force. Although this is the most direct method, when there's a day when military force can't be used to solve the problem, won't it be over? This time, the method the Japanese used was not direct military force, nor was it economic. It was deceit, just like how I deceived Yamamoto and the others. It was just a little different, but in the end, it couldn't be separated from the word deceit. Then we'll use the same method to deal with it. Continue to suspend trade and let the merchants in Zhejiang cooperate with us. Go to other places to look for rubber, build more boats, and surround the island more tightly. Yes, you finally used your deceit this time. You tricked people into buying radishes, tricked them into buying a lot of thermometers, and even tricked them in the cement. Do you really think you're the best in the world? Aren't you afraid that they will react? This time, when Zhang Xiaobao used his deceit, Wang Wan did not object because it was not targeted at the people of Tang. Zhang Xiaobao smiled. Even if I'm the best in the world, it's too late to react. When that kid attacked the pound sterling, how could the British not know? But there was nothing they could do. When that kid attacked the Thai baht, how could the Thai not know? How did the Star Wars plan come out? How was the former Soviet Union divided? After the deceit was exposed, as long as people are not stupid, they will understand the reason. But in the process of deceit, how many people can understand? How many people who thought they were smart were deceived? How many countries were deceived? As long as it's done well, it's half the battle. I don't believe that there's anyone in Japan who can see through it. Besides, even if there are some people who can see through it, it's useless. No one will listen to them. They can only grieve by themselves. That's right. It's the same on the battlefield. Sometimes, other people's opinions may not be accepted. Power. This is the charm of power. You don't listen to me either. How many times have we lost because people were too confident? But how many times have we won because of that? Tell me, what are you going to do next? Wang Wan agreed with Zhang Xiaobao. When a deceit was exposed, people would laugh at the person who was deceived for being stupid. But who knew that the person who laughed at others would also be stupid one day? You really want to hear it? You don't want to guess it yourself? You admit defeat? Zhang Xiaobao did not directly talk about the plan. Instead, he began to talk to Wang Wan about winning and losing. Can't you let me win a little? I already told you the plan when we were fighting. You don't want to tell me now. This is not fair. Wang Wan reached out to pinch Zhang Xiaobao's face. Stop. With this move of yours, I'll give you fairness. There are times when strength truly is useful. Between countries, without strength, there is no fairness. In truth, my method is very simple. I'll go and explain to the people of Luzon how good our great Tang is, but it's useless. Because there was a Japanese who had an accident on a boat and drifted to the island. He was rescued by the locals. Later, he contacted the Japanese and was able to carry out the plan. Similarly, people who do favors are more willing to believe the person who is being helped. So, any explanation is useless. Then there is no need to explain. We will smuggle. Every once in a while, we will send people to pretend to be Japanese to smuggle. We will only give this treatment to a small portion of the tribes. We will not care about the rest who are allied with the Japanese. During the smuggling process, we will give more benefits to the other party to make them feel more comfortable. This way, they will not be worried about poverty, but they will be worried about inequality. This will turn their external unity into internal conflicts. When the time comes, we don't need to send troops to fight. They will be in chaos themselves. Anyway, we are very strict now. No one can enter. Without the support of accurate information, what do you think they will do? Zhang Xiaobao explained his plan. You want them to kill each other? Wang Wan finally knew what Zhang Xiaobao was going to do. She continued, Then are you going to support the local people and form a group of independent people? When the time comes, you will pull people close to you and attack people far away. You will let them sink into endless war? That's right. Isn't it simple? It is practical and convenient. Many countries have used it. We have also used it a lot in ancient times. As long as we don't make any internal mistakes and deal with the ambitious people of the other party as soon as possible, we will be able to maintain it. The longer it lasts, the more benefits it will bring to us. Zhang Xiaobao didn't need to think too much about this method. It was very simple. As long as the military force could be guaranteed, there was no need to directly use military force to solve a problem when it came to real work. Those who should be pulled, those who should be beaten, will be beaten. When the time comes, if they want to get any benefits, they will do it under this situation. What about Japan? Should we send a letter to them and ask them not to send people over? Wang Wan meant whether to use military force to threaten Japan or not. They will not admit it. That is a personal action. The people who were caught said it. The Japanese government doesn't know about this. Our Tang Empire can't fight a landing battle. We should leave a gap and let the Japanese on the island feel hopeful. They will continue to ask for domestic support. When the time comes, we will specially attack their ships and let them talk about this matter first. Chapter 697. Green grass covered the houses, the willows swayed, and the breeze blew gently. Soft chirps returned to the swallows, and Bei Shui Nuan was anxious. The weather was getting warmer. The swallows returned home, and the streams were soft. Following the heavy rain, the people who were plowing in the spring heaved a sigh of relief. At this time, the capital had become more prosperous. Some people who wanted to go out for a walk were choosing the tour groups they wanted to join. Those who wanted to participate in this year's spring examinations were busy sending invitations. Similarly, new songs and poems were sung from time to time in the brothels. Some were flattered by others, while others were secretly criticized. Those at home who wanted to save rations brought their children to pick wild vegetables. After the rain, there were more people picking mushrooms. Storytellers were still looking for suitable subjects. The new animals in the zoo attracted many curious people. Flowers were placed in the east and west markets. Carriages and horses came and went. The fragrance of wine and food wafted through the air. It gave people a feeling of prosperity. But today, these things were not the most important. The most important thing was that the outstanding craftsmen who had come to the capital from all over the country would participate in a month-long competition. The craftsmen, who were usually not valued, had finally ushered in the spring of their own industry. The court had arranged a large enough place for the competition. The Ministry of Between the Clouds and the Water took out 20,000 strings of cash to buy materials and reward the best craftsmen in each industry. The craftsmen had fought their way up from all over the country. They all thought that their skills were good. Every one of them had at least one small invention or improved some kind of utensil. Their travel expenses were the money they earned from the government or local merchants after their inventions and improvements. It wasn't that the government and merchants didn't want to monopolize the money, but this time, the matter was too big. If they didn't send good craftsmen to the capital for the competition, they would lose a chance to make a name for themselves. This was especially true for the local officials, who grasped the opportunity the most. They hoped that they would be noticed by the court and be promoted. Some of the craftsmen from all over the country had set off last year. They pondered along the way and should be able to improve or create something new. They arrived at the capital one after another, and were placed in the place provided by the Ministry of Between the Clouds and the Water, waiting for the official start of the competition today. Many merchants with discerning eyes had set their sights on the craftsman competition, hoping to find good craftsmen to recruit into their respective businesses. Unfortunately, after they found out that they had to choose between the clouds and the water first, they could only give up on the best craftsmen and turn their attention to those who were a little less skilled. They couldn't compete with between the clouds and the water. Not to mention that the wages given during recruitment couldn't compete with between the clouds and the water. Even if it was the same amount of money, or even a little more, the craftsmen would still choose between the clouds and the water. Everyone knew that between the clouds and the water had plenty of infrastructure and resources for research. In addition, between the clouds and the water was famous enough, so there was no need to worry about being cheated. All the craftsmen who came to the capital, as long as they thought they were skilled enough, would aim to enter between the clouds and the water. The people who saw the craftsmen taking the imperial examination for the first time were curious and also gathered in the east side of the capital. This was the venue for the competition. The imperial court had sent officials to take charge. At this time, the assistant minister of the Ministry of Rites, He Zhizhang, the assistant minister of the Ministry of Works, Wei Shu, and the little eunuch Luo, been sent by Gao Lishur, all led their subordinates to announce the start of today's competition. Because there were many craftsmen involved in various aspects, it couldn't be done at the same time. In order to attract more people, the first day of the competition was just a warm-up. The content was to make ingenious objects that could make people feel novel and fun. Tool tables were set up one by one, and all kinds of materials were placed in fixed places according to their categories. The craftsmen who participated in this project looked around nervously and confidently, and one after another, they ordered their disciples to get all kinds of materials. Some used wood, some used copper and iron, and some even used animal fur and bones. The competition started in the morning and lasted until noon. At that time, everyone would be able to eat. The craftsmen's meals were provided by Savant's restaurant, and the people in and around the capital who didn't live a good life were given a chance to make money. First, the Prosperity House lent them materials to make lunch boxes, buns, and wontons, and allowed them to sell them to the onlookers. After a month, they should be able to make a lot of money. When the time came, they would return the money to the Prosperity House. Of course, it also attracted a lot of complaints from the restaurants and restaurants that didn't allow them to enter. In the east side of the market, in addition to the place for the people to watch, there were also specially built stands for officials and people from aristocratic families. The privileged always had to be treated differently. Of course, enjoyment was enjoyment, but the money that should be spent was not a copper coin less. The stands were divided into A, B, and C positions. The height was different, and the provided binoculars were also different. There were also differences in the food and drinks. The best seat at the top was empty, reserved for Li Longji. No matter whether he came or not, the seat was indispensable, in case he had a sudden impulse to come to the east side of the market and take a look. The craftsmen were busy, and the little eunuch Luo Bin was walking back and forth, his eyes darting around, afraid that someone would cheat. He had been repeatedly warned by Gao Lishur not to make any mistakes, because the competition not only made the capital more lively, but more importantly, it was to select talents for the Zhang family and Wang family. The assistant minister of the Ministry of Rites, He Zhizhang, didn't seem to be paying attention to the competition. He sat in a good position in the stands, holding a binoculars and looking at the prosperity of the east side of the market. It seemed that he was preparing to write a poem. Listening to the screeching of wood and the clanking of iron, the assistant minister of the Ministry of Works, Wei Shu, also yawned in boredom. He really couldn't understand why an assistant minister like him was sent to host a competition for craftsmen. It felt like a waste of talent. Just as he closed his eyes and was about to take a nap, a group of people came to the bottom of the stage. Each of them had a blade in their hand, and in the middle there were two people. They didn't greet others and went in through a specially sealed staircase. Then he heard footsteps going all the way up to the top. Wei Shu quivered and was no longer sleepy. Just now, he felt that the people with the blades looked familiar. It was actually the Jinwu guards. The people who followed the two people up were the imperial bodyguards. Mother, the emperor actually came. Needless to say, one of the two people was the emperor, and the other was Gao Lishur. And it seems that it wasn't a waste of talent. No, I have to go down and take a look. If I continue to sit on the stage, it will be troublesome if the emperor thinks that I didn't do my best. Before going down, Wei Shu kindly nudged He Zhizhang beside him. Assistant Minister He, do you want to go down and take a look? Oh, okay, that's exactly what I was thinking. He Zhizhang replied happily. With such a big movement just now, it was impossible for him not to hear it. The poetic feeling in his heart suddenly sublimated, and he began to do practical things. Just like art, it was higher than life, but it also originated from life. Li Longji sat on the best and highest position and looked down with a telescope. He said to Gao Lisher, "Lisher, the craftsman below, will be a big help for Project Soaring. Help us see which one is the best." How could Gao Lisher know who was the best? The competition hadn't been decided yet. Everyone seemed to make different things. He didn't know what kind of rules the judges would use. While he was anxious, he suddenly saw a craftsman below. He seemed to have seen him before. After thinking carefully, he remembered. It was Lu Jiro's distant relative. He heard that he had been with the Zhang family for a long time. He didn't know why he came to participate in the competition this time. Looking at the place written on the competition plate, he actually represented Feng Province. Seeing this person, Gao Lisher had an idea. He said to Li Longji, "Your Majesty, this subject thinks that the person sitting over there might be the best in this competition. Your Majesty, please take a look." Li Longji followed Gao Lisher's finger and looked over. He asked puzzledly, "Could it be that Lisher can foresee things? This subject doesn't have that ability. This subject has seen this person before. He is a distant relative of Lu Jiro, who recently left her position as the Minister of Works. He has always been with the Zhang family. This subject believes that he has learned a lot of skills. I just don't know why he is representing Feng Province," Gao Lisher explained. "Oh, so he is Lu Qing's relative. He is with the Zhang family. Not bad. How is Lu Qing recently?" Li Longji felt that since this person was from the Zhang family, he must be very powerful. He suddenly thought of Lu Jiro, who was no longer in office, and asked. Hearing Li Longji's question, Gao Lisher laughed before answering. "Haha, Your Majesty, Lu Jiro is busy with moving. She keeps saying that Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are ingrates." "Why? Did Xiao Bao and Cuckoo not give her enough gifts? Where does she want to move to?" Li Longji's curiosity was aroused. She wants to move to Baoxing County first. She wrote a letter to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, but they didn't agree. They said that the weather was warm, so they didn't send a boat to pick her up. In the end, Lu Jiro couldn't help but stroll around the recuperation area behind Day Hospital. She would mention it to anyone she knew. Many of the officials who went to check on her body avoided her. Gao Lisher laughed after saying this. Li Longji understood and laughed as well. So there is such a thing. It seems that her body hasn't recovered yet. Fortunately, there is Day Hospital. Otherwise, when she had a relapse last time, the palace couldn't have taken out good things to save her life. She probably wants to live a few more years, so she insists on going to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. That's right. Many officials are preparing to leave their posts and live with the Zhang and Wang families. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo have already written a letter to this subject. They want to build a large villa area in Sanshui County, and they are preparing to settle in people who want to join in the fun. This subject is also worried. I can't let all the officials live in Sanshui County in the end. Gao Lisher continued to explain the situation. Li Longji muttered to himself for a moment, then said, "This matter is easy to handle. Everyone thinks that the Zhang family's medical facilities are good, and the food is good, so we can't let everyone go. Officials of the 5th rank and above can go after leaving their posts. Those below the 5th rank have to see what they have done. Only those who have made great contributions to the court can go. As for officials of the 5th rank and above, we also have to see how they left their posts. If they did well in their posts, we'll allow them. As for the expenses," when it came to money, Li Longji didn't know who should pay. The entire court would pay, so he was reluctant. If he let the officials pay themselves, they might not be able to afford to live there. "Your Majesty, Xiao Bao mentioned this point in his letter. He said that money is a small matter, and he wants to gather all the officials who are leaving their post together. In their free time, they can discuss the important matters of the country together. They are called a think tank, but they can make contributions to the people, so the Zhang and Wang family's investment will not be in vain. Money is a small matter. Only those two families can say such things. Fine, you can take a look at this matter. When Zhang Zhong returns to the capital, we'll talk about it again." Li Longji was in a good mood. He let Gao Lisher take care of it. When the time came, he would give the Zhang family and Wang family policy compensation. In any case, the money must not be taken out. While the two of them were talking, the craftsmen in the competition also finished their work one by one. The outstanding craftsmen from all over the country were indeed better than the average craftsman. There were craftsmen who specialized in making carriages, and now they had developed a small gadget. It was divided into two parts. The first part was placed under the axle, like a small trough. The other part was placed on top of the carriage, like a tank. The tank was filled with oil, and as the wheels turned, a drop of oil would drip from the tank every once in a while. If there was too much oil, the small trough below would catch it, making it much more convenient for the driver. This small gadget was very practical, especially for people who had carriages and horses. If they traveled a little further, the driver couldn't always be busy with oiling the axle while driving the carriage. Even if the quality and speed of the bearings were very poor, this gadget was still very useful. Moreover, not everyone could afford to use bearings. There were also people who made automatic feeding devices for livestock owners. Using the change of buoyancy and gravity, the boxes containing feed and water would be moved. As long as the livestock had almost finished the water and feed, the boxes would be opened and the food inside would be taken out. The invention was good, but the people in the crowd who were feeding the livestock did not appreciate it at all. It was not easy to have livestock at home, and they all treated them like treasures. How could they use such a gadget to feed the animals instead of themselves? While feeding them, they could also talk to the animals and see if they were feeling uncomfortable. Another craftsman developed an anti-theft gadget. Under normal circumstances, thieves would enter a house at night through the window or through the door. However, not all houses had windows, so they could only enter through the door. The door had a latch, so they had to use a thin object to enter through the door and pull it open bit by bit. This anti-theft gadget was designed by connecting a rope to the back of the latch and tying a bell to the other end of the rope. When the latch was pulled open to a certain extent, one reason was that it would be difficult for the thief to pull it open, and the other reason was that the bell would ring. This design had 6 links, and the cost of the gadget was not too high. If it was mass-produced, a set would only cost 40 copper coins, and the bell could be chosen by oneself. However, it was given a 0. The idea was good, but it was not very useful. If they really wanted to lock the door, they could just add a card to the back of the latch, or directly tie the bell to the door. Anyway, there were all kinds of strange things. The judges were sent by the Zhang family and Wang family. They were very humorous, and from time to time, the onlookers would laugh out loud. One by one, they came to let the judges evaluate their gadgets. At this time, it was Lu Feidong's turn. This time, he represented Fengzhou, which was his hometown. Because of Lu Jiro, he had not been able to enter the inner court of the Zhang family and Wang family. That was like selling oneself. Moreover, Lu Jiro was the Minister of Works before she left, so it was easy for her to leak secrets. He was not allowed to participate in the real experiment, but a lot of theories were taught to him. He could use the materials to complete his ideas, and if he wanted to ask for help, he could also ask for help. As soon as he came to the front, one of the judges said to him, "Feidong, why did you come here? Wouldn't it be better to stay at home? Young master and young lady have a new plan, and this time they can let you participate. Since you came here to compete, then we will be stricter with you than the others. After all, you have learned so many theories, and you are not at the same level as others. As long as someone has the same score as you will lose and your ranking will be delayed." When this person spoke, he did not hide it at all, and his voice was also heard. When the onlookers heard, they felt that it was unfair. How could the craftsmen of the Zhang family and Wang family participate in the competition? If they could perform, then what about others? The craftsmen who participated in the competition were also disappointed. The judges were from the Zhang family and Wang family. Who would believe that they would say that there would definitely be people who cheated? Unexpectedly, The first person to object was Lu Feidong. This is a craftsman competition, not a level competition. Should we deliberately suppress people just because they have learned more? I don't agree. If it is a battle on the battlefield, should we not allow one side to use better weapons just because they are better trained? When the judges heard this, they also felt that this was not right. They should not avoid family members. They nodded and said, "That's fine. Regardless of the level, we will only look at the object." Only then did Lu Feidong take out his item amidst the noisy discussion. It was a small box with 7 rows of numbers that could be moved up and down. He asked someone to find a carriage and connect one end of the box to the wheels of the carriage. As the carriage moved forward, the support of the wheels would constantly hit a small piece of the box. Every time the second piece was hit, the last row of numbers on the box would change. When the last row returned to 0, the second to last number would jump forward and become 1, and so on. It was a very interesting object. The onlookers had never seen it before and did not know what it was used for. The content of the discussion changed from whether it was fair or not to what this object could be used for. Lu Feidong listened to the onlookers' questions and felt very proud. Wei Wei raised his head and puffed out his chest. He did not explain what his object was used for. He did not even tell the judges. This attracted the attention of Li Longji, who was on the viewing platform. He asked Gao Lisher, "Do you know what that object is?" This subject does not know. Why don't we order him to tell us? Gao Lisher was not a deity, so how could he know what this object was used for? However, he did not like Lu Feidong. Just tell us quickly. There was no need to make people guess. There is no need. It seems that he is not convinced by the Zhang family's craftsmen. Li Longji waved his hand to stop him. The judges were still waiting for Lu Feidong to speak so that they could evaluate the object according to the normal procedures. However, when they saw that Lu Feidong did not speak, their expressions turned ugly. They signaled to each other and gave a score of 6. The previous person who made an alarm clock with the weight of the hourglass gave it 8. 5 points. However, this object was actually given a score of 6. When Lu Feidong saw the score, he was stunned. He then said unhappily, "You are deliberately suppressing me. Why is my object given a score of 6? Do you know what it is used for?" When the onlookers saw this, they felt that there was going to be a commotion. The craftsmen of the Zhang family and Wang family actually did not get a high score. Could it be that they were worried about each other? Or was it really because their object was not as good as others? The craftsmen also felt hope. As long as this person did not get 10 points, others would have a chance to get first place. You're tuning in to the Echo Reads YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.